latest technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Yes. Man, oh man. Why do the Kings keep doing this? Allen Stiles here. Sacktown Sports with Kyle Ledbetter taking you up to 2 p.m. And look, I understand. I get it. There are a lot of people that talk Kings out here, and you can find a way to just still be kumbaya and still feel good about the Kings, because so many other people talk down about Sacramento, talk down about the Sacramento Kings, that here in Sacramento, you don't want that. You don't want to just pile on to that. I get it. But that leaves me, one Allen Stiles, in a very, very tough situation, because I don't want to do it either. I'd love to sit here and talk about how the Kings are taking care of business. I'd love to sit here and talk about how the naysayers were incorrect, how DeMar DeRozan was the perfect missing piece. I'd love to talk about how De'Aaron Fox is in line for All-NBA and Keegan Murray is the hottest young player in the league, or one of 25 under 25. He's always on those lists. I love to talk about the resurgence of Kevin Huerter. I'd love to talk about Mike Brown being in the Coach of the Year conversation. But I can't do that today. And I literally sat here as I'm at the game last night. They got another game tonight. I sat here and tried to figure out how can I look at the positives out of this Sacramento Kings situation. But you know what? I decided I'm not going to fake it, because that's not what I do. You want kumbaya? This is probably not the show for you. You want tough love? You want the real? Then you're in the right place. Because the real is the Sacramento Kings are on a 3-game losing streak. They lost to the lowly Hawks. They lost to the Clippers without Norman Powell. And they lost to the Nets at home with no Dennis Schroeder, who's been cooking for the Nets. So I can't sit here. It would be disrespectful to Kings fans who spend their hard-earned money and spend their time on that beam team out there in Doco. It would be disrespectful to sit here and tell you everything's okay. Everything's not okay. Everything is not okay. We have plenty of sound. Hope everybody is feeling good on this Monday.
Also, hope you're doing wonderful.
Hope
the
you're
sky
doing
is
wonderful.
falling, but I hope you're doing wonderful.
I hope you had a good time this weekend. If you got paid, I hope you didn't blow it all in one place. And if you did blow it all in one place, I hope you enjoyed yourself. It's a short week for most of us, not all of us. Got to give a shout out to our doctors and first responders. They always got to keep it going. We have more of that throughout the week. Don't you worry. So I struggled, Kyle. I really did, because I'm sitting here looking at a 3-game losing streak where they've lost. What is this? They've lost 5 of their last 7. And it's hard for me to sit there and say, hey, they're going to do this and they're going to get on track. They're going to do it, because they haven't proven anything. This iteration of the Kings, they haven't proven anything. So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going off of, and if it's a transition period, when that transition is going to start happening. We're 20% done with the season. Okay, we're gonna. I talked to Jason about this. We're going to be in a couple games here. The first quarter is going to be done. And you're sitting here looking at what did you do in the first quarter. Now, you look at an overall GPA, and this is, you don't have to play the sound, Kyle. I'm basically getting into my style espresso right now, but you can play it if you want. Thank you. Double shot. It's a double shot because we already came out with it, Kyle.
Sure.
But I'm starting here, and I'm thinking, and I have a lot of experience with this. You sit there, and you have your son or your daughter, and they come up to you, and they say, "Mommy or Daddy, I want to go to," I don't know if they're still calling you mommy or daddy in high school, but I want to go to Stanford. I want to go to Stanford. You say, "Okay, sweetie, I think that sounds great. I heard Palo Alto's beautiful this time of year. Let's take a deeper dive look at your GPA." You look at the GPA, and it's not terrible. He or she, they have a 3.0. And you say, okay, you got a 3.0. That's not bad, and it's still early. The first quarter is about to end. It's still early, sweetie. We got time. But you got to turn this thing around because the GPAs at Stanford looking like they start at 3.6. They start at 3.5.
No, they do not.
Higher than that.
Let me tell you, it's a 4-point something.
Well, I can't tell Sweetie that can't happen. We got to find the lowest GPA they've allowed and go from there.
It's a 4-point something you got to have.
Then we'll do Cal. How about Cal, all right?
Sure.
We need to get into Cal. Dad, I want to go to Cal. Fine. I got a 3.0. Okay. Looks like you need a 3.5. That's what it looks like, Sweetie. So now what does Sweetie need to do? Sweetie needs a 4.0 to balance out the 3.0 just to get back to the 3.5 to be in consideration.
Sweetie needs some AP classes next year.
And that's what the Kings need. They need some good wins, which could start tonight. And they have to make up for what they just tricked off at the beginning of this season. They had one of the easiest schedules. That's just the reality. The teams that they lost to, it's just embarrassing. It's just embarrassing. And look, I'm telling you, I get it. The Kings, they're past. The last thing I want to do is come on these airwaves and give Kings fans a version of what they've heard in the past. That is the last thing I want to do. But they're leaving me no choice. They're leaving me no choice. You lost to the Hawks. You lost to the Clippers off of 3 days rest, and you got your guys back besides Malik Monk. They didn't even have Norm Powell. Obviously, they don't have Kawhi Leonard. And then you lose to the Nets, you're in the same conversation with the Nets right now for Cooper Flagg and Ace Bailey. And I'll tell you this much. You look at a guy like Mr. Vivek, and you look at the things that he said in the past, we will be second place to no one. That's what he said about Sacramento. He sits there, front row, courtside seats every single day. Every single game he's there. And I don't know if the TV broadcast showed it, but the look on his face was not of somebody who was very happy. And if you want to come at me, and look, we have plenty at 11 o'clock. We have a lot of Twitter responses and social media responses we're going to read through as far as what the Kings can do to improve, more specifically handling the actual team and trades. We have plenty of time for trades. But you could sit there and say, Allen, relax. It's early. You keep saying 20% done. That means there's still 80% left. Relax. It's early. You can tell me that. I'm not the owner. I'm not Mr. Vivek. But you see that look on his face last night? Sitting courtside with his family. Jeremy Lamb was there as well. He might need to suit up at this point. You see the look on his face. Go tell him. Tell him it's early. Tell him to relax. You don't got to tell me. I don't make the decisions. But that man and the face that he had was not of a man who is thinking that this is early. He is not thinking that Thanksgiving, the turkey is not going to be tasting too good right now. You come out, you can get this win tonight. Then you got to finally beat the Timberwolves, who got you down 0-2 already. The NBA Cup is already cooked. I don't think people realize how important it is to get into the playoffs. How much revenue is generated, how much it can alter what a team is worth, how a team is valued, how a city is valued. So a businessman like Mr. Vivek is seeing what he has invested in, and it is not coming to fruition yet. Now, maybe he feels like, okay, we'll give it a little bit more time. But you lost 5 of 7. You've lost 3 in a row. You're losing. I got to look this up, Kyle, and we'll get into the whole breakdown. I mean, look, no Dennis Schroeder, and I'm not sitting here saying, Dennis Schroeder is a world beater, but he's been playing well. You get no Dennis Schroeder, and excuse me, no Dorian Finney-Smith either.
Yep.
I just remembered that. No Dorian Finney-Smith either, who is everyone's darling to join their team.
Just Noah Clowney spraying threes.
This is ridiculous now. Like I said, we got to get to the other side. We'll get into a breakdown of the stats. But you get Cam Johnson with 16. You'll allow that. Cam Thomas with 34. I know it might be embarrassing, but if you don't got the horses, if Keon's not going to start, and as far as the guard position, you're just getting cooked, you can send a blitz at Cam Thomas because you can't let him drop 34 on your head at home. 18 from Noah Clowney. I was confused, Kyle. I never heard of Noah Clowney before. I'm not even kidding. I thought Jadeveon Clowney. Then I got Noah Brown on the Commanders. Who is this guy? He drops 18 points, 5 of 8 from three-point land.
Hit 4 of 4 in the first half, too.
They had 44 bench points. The Kings had 9 from one guy, Keon Ellis. So you can tell me it's early. And you can say, I don't want to hear. This is the reality of the situation. So let's break down what happened. I promise we will find a way to get optimistic, but the Kings don't deserve optimism at the top of the show. They don't. We'll talk about what went wrong. We'll talk about how we can turn this thing around. It all starts tonight. It can start tonight. You get a win against the number 2 team in the West, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander and the crew. No Chet, but they got Hartenstein back. You get a win against them, then we can start the conversation. But I'll tell you what, beating the Thunder tonight makes it look a lot like the Kings of last season. Is that who you are? Let's find out. 4 hours, let's get it going. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Flo here from Progressive to tell you how you get more than great savings with us. You get customer service access through our mobile app, online chat, or by phone.
That's a lot of ways I can get in touch with you. I see what's going on here. You can't name favorites, but I'm your number 1 customer.
Actually, we offer all our customers these ways to contact us.
I'm sure you give just any customer your personal
company
contact info.
Well, you did call us more than any other customer this year. So in that sense, you are our number 1 customer.
Get help from Progressive through the website, app, chat, or phone. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM. Or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports. And I'm sorry. I did not want to start the show like this. I didn't. But the Kings, they left me no choice. They left you no choice. And they can turn it around tonight. They can turn it around tonight, but I'm not going to sit here and act like this is okay. Again, you got to get real hot. You got to get real hot, and maybe they will. Let's get to, and by the way, Kyle is telling me Kyle is telling me that some people on the text line and the Sack chatter are having some fun. Having some fun because I said mommy and daddy for the high schoolers. Look, I caught myself, all right?
No, people are making the jokes. I go the other way. It's like you can call your parents mommy and daddy for as long as you want. As long as you're willing to.
No, I don't. I mean, look.
As long as you're willing to accept, some people making jokes at you, especially 15-year-olds. 15-year-olds are mean when you have jokes like that. But
you get that phone call, mommy, to pick you up. Mommy, where are you? That's not going to fly.
Sure, but I think it's fine. We all grow up too fast. We just call your parents mommy and daddy for as long as you want. Now, people are going to make jokes at you, sure, but
right.
just let it go, man. It's fine. Alan, if your theoretical sweetie in your analogy wants to call her mom mommy, then so be it.
So be it. So be it. Amid Rock on the Sack Chat says, the only good thing about last night's game was seeing the OG Kings logo on the floor. I completely forgot about that too. I've learned something about the Kings. Whenever there is something special happening, they're gonna lose. As soon as I saw that logo, I said, "Oh, I didn't say it out loud because I'm in the media section. I don't want."
The first time that happened was the Beam Team season. They had a chance to clinch the first playoff spot in 16 years.
Yeah.
And it was the first time Jerry Reynolds had been to a game in a while, so they did a unexpected tribute for him.
Can't do that.
Julian Champagny, man. Julian Champagny for the Spurs had like 29 points. They lost to the worst team in the league. This is before they had Wemby, too. And it was just like, they were so close to clinching on the home
Can't do that,
court.
man. What was it? I know Chris Webber came to a game, kind of remember them losing that game.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
And I'm pretty sure they lost when Jason Williams came to.
Yep, they did also lose when
I'm
Jason
telling you,
Williams was
man.
there. At least 50 Cent won a bunch of games for us.
I'm telling you. All right, what went wrong last night? Well, let's start here. The Nets shot 48% from three, which is insane. And they were actually at over 50% for majority of the game. I think those last couple chucks that they threw up with late shot clocks brought them under 50%.
At halftime, the Brooklyn Nets, I think, were 13 of 19 from three. I think that comes out to like 50-something%, but it was their most made three-pointers of the season in any half. They hit 13 in the first half. We mentioned Noah Clowney earlier. You may have not known who he was, but he hit 4 3-pointers back to back in the first half. It was also his career high for three-pointers made in a half.
16 turnovers for 24 points. Okay, and that's not good either. 44 bench points. We talked about this. 44 bench points for the Nets compared to 9 for the Kings, and that was all Keon Ellis. I don't know. Look, I'm not sitting here saying Jordan McLaughlin was going to save the game, but little weird. No Jordan McLaughlin. Little weird. I mean, Orlando Robinson has shown shown something. If you're not going to play Alex Len, you're not going to play Orlando Robinson. It can just be a little confusing. No Jordan McLaughlin with no Malik Monk playing, and obviously you still don't have Devin Carter. Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I mean, Colby Jones, look, we have these guys on the show. This is never any disrespect. We have them on after practice, and I'm sure they understand as long as we keep it in between the lines, that's just what it is. We try to be, like I said, as respectful as possible. Colby Jones plays hard. I mean, based on what I've seen, I know he's bigger than Jordan McLaughlin, but I'm not really sure why we're playing Colby Jones 17 minutes and Jordan McLaughlin can't get in the game.
Yeah, DNP coach's decision.
And it gets to a point now where, and I'll get into it because a couple people are saying media needs to hold these guys accountable. I don't know what that means. And you can try to explain to me what that means. We ask them questions. They give us coach speak. They give us manager speak. That's what it is. If I were to ask Coach Mike Brown why Jordan McLaughlin didn't get time, he'd say something like, yeah, just based on the rotations, or we liked what we've been seeing from Colby, or based on what we saw from a matchup perspective, we wanted to get Colby some run. You could guess. We talk about GPAs in the first segment. How about SAT, Scantron? I'll give you 4 different answers Mike Brown could have said, and D or E could be all the above. Wow. The lines are crazy. Javier, Will, Ben, we see all of you, but Javier wanted to kick things off. He got here first, but Will, Ben, don't go anywhere. We're going to fire through these. What's up, Javier? Happy Monday. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello, how you guys doing today?
Good, man. Good. What you got for us?
I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but I've given this team 15-plus games and an 8 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
This is what exactly from, training camp, I believe, truly was going to happen, is that Monty McNair is patient, above reproach, and it's going to ultimately cost him De'Aaron Fox. And the Kings aren't going to be a bad team. They're not going to be a cellar dweller, but they're going to be what they've shown us. They're going to be a 500 team, just good enough to be in the play-in, but not bad enough to be in the lottery. And De'Aaron's been like, you know what? I'm tired of it. We all know it don't take Stevie Wonder to see we need a 3-and-D wing player as a starter and or as a additional bench piece. And Monty McNair wants to cut his nose out of Spider's face and say, nah, I don't like that trade acquisition. It's not perfect. I don't like that idea. We have to give up a pick. Or I don't like that thought. It's not the perfect transaction for me to make. Turn to Donovan Mitchell. And he's going to say, you know what? Thanks, Sacramento. But no thanks. I'm trying to compete for a championship. I put up 60, 49, 30-plus, et cetera. We got DeMar DeRozan, and we're under 500, losing to the Nets, having Ben Simmons out there yelling, shooting, hollering, shouting like he wants to play basketball again. That is like seeing Tarzan in 2024.
Yeah. Rough stuff there, Javier. Thanks for the call, and have a good holiday. To Javier's point, over the last 5 games, De'Aaron Fox is averaging 39.4 points per game. Sacramento has a record of 1-4 over that span, unable to take advantage of Fox's historic heater. That's from Evan Sittery with the wordplay there at the end. Now, obviously, that doesn't tell the whole story. They were missing some guys. But to that point, the reason that they lost games, maybe, even with De'Aaron doing that, is because of the roster construction. So to Javier's point, this roster isn't good enough. Right, and we can point at Keegan Murray, we can point at Kevin Huerter. I think it's all a part of it, and the bench is just atrocious. The bench is bad. The bench was bad with Malik Monk. Now it's just even worse. Will, Ben, we're going to try to sneak you in. Let's start with you, Will. You're on with Allen Stiles. What you got?
What's up, Styles and Watson, man? What's this Will Ben, man? This is Will, man. It's still Will Ben.
Well, I'm saying who else is on the line. I'm just letting Ben know we got him too. What you got?
Oh, you got a guy named Ben. Okay, I'm cool with that. Hey,
yeah.
Hey, man, you guys, I love you guys, but you guys ripped me last year when I tried to tell you, look, Coach, the problem, look, you got all your timeouts. Mm-hmm. You get out there in the first quarter, you let yourself get down 20 because you refuse to call a timeout when a team is going on a run. That's Coach's main problem, mm-hmm. is that he let the Kings get down by 20. I mean, how many times did that happen last year? And then he called a timeout.
Yeah.
The game is over. They spend all that time trying to catch up, and then they're dead at the end of the game. And then the same with like you was talking about Kobe Jones. Like if Huerter is not hitting his wide open shots, he's not helping us. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you got to make a decision. Okay, Hurt, you ain't hitting your shots, man. If you ain't hitting your wide open shots, you a coach. You can't be sentimental to a guy. I mean, he got to get his minutes and all that stuff. Forget the minutes. You can't let yourself get down 20. It's happened twice already this year to mediocre teams.
Yeah,
mediocre teams. We get down by 20, and then the coach is just standing over there with his hands in his pocket, looking silly.
Yeah. No, thanks for the call, Will. Great stuff as always. Well, here's the thing, though. This is the conundrum with the team. If I were to read off the stats, and I said, Domantas Sabonis, 18 rebounds, 13 points. DeMar DeRozan, 18 points. Keegan Murray, 21 points. De'Aaron Fox, 31 points. Kevin Huerter, 11 points. You played the Nets with no Dennis Schroeder, you'd probably think that the Kings won that game.
Yeah, the Kings were fine. It's just when you get into everyone else, not a lot there.
And when they cannot stop any. They are the worst team defending the 3-point line. The worst.
Yeah, and this game was different than the Clippers game. I know we'll get into the Clippers a little bit later, but the story of why they lost the Nets game was different than the story of why they lost the Clippers game. And maybe that's more disheartening for fans. I don't know. It's like both games were very different from one another, even though they both ended up with losses to teams the Kings thought they would beat.
Kyle, should we sneak in Ben here on the other side? Ben, we'll get you on the other side. Don't move a muscle. You will kick us off for the 10:30 segment. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Old Spice Swagger Holiday Pack, perfect for a gift to treat yourself. 24/7 holiday freshness with daily use can smell your bestest. I'm gonna be smelling great all season. Old Spice scents just can't be beaten. Chock full of value, saving that green. Got the essentials needed to feel clean. Deodorant, hair, body wash, and spray. Celebrate your holiday the Old Spice way. Ho, 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 ho.
This year, American farmers will harvest 2.8 billion bushels of wheat and 15.1 billion bushels of corn. And to this day, American road workers have built 4.2 million miles of roads and counting. We're proud that John Deere machines rolling off the line here in the USA play a part in supporting Americans who work the land and build a better tomorrow. Nothing runs like a Deere. Learn more at johndeere.com/manufacturing.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Ram Power Days now that Black Friday's here?
We're giving you a head start on the new year when you save up to $17,500 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s, starting as low as $36,325.
Wow, already that kind of savings on next year's models?
Yep, there's a reason we continue to be one of the biggest Ram dealers in the country, with numerous customer service awards, including the very prestigious Walter P. Chrysler Award, which means we are in the top 1% of dealers in the nation.
Don't miss the savings on those new 2025 Rams right now at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$17,500 total net savings on select new 2025 Ram 1500 after $12,000 factory rebates and $5,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 SFS bonus cash. Must finance through Stellantis. $3,000 Hoblet select inventory coupons. $500 on-the-job upfit incentive with proof of business ownership, and $2,000 in Hoblet trade-in assistance for eligible trade-ins. 10 at the net savings. See dealer for details. 36,325 in 544-890.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Talk about what's going wrong with the Kings. I did have this. We have plenty of sound we're going to get to. But, you know, it's holiday week. The phones are jumping. And I want to give the Sacramento Kings fans time to speak their piece. And, you know, the reality is, you know, it's a different type of fed up. When the Kings were bad, obviously it's a little bit different because you're just not seen as a threat. This is a new area for the Kings where it's, hey, we are making the right decisions, or we are making investments. We are trying to get to that other side. We have made some good decisions, but on the court, it's not coming together, at least not yet. That's not to say that it won't. And I know they're 17 games in. The reality is, do we trust this team to get even hotter than they have been to make up for these losses? That's my issue. That's why it doesn't matter to me that it's early, because I don't see this team and this current roster making up for the losses that they've already had. 916-339-1140. Let's keep the phone guys going. Ben, we are men of our words here. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports. What's up? We got you. Hope you didn't have to wait too long. What you got for us, Ben?
No, that's all good, man. I don't know why. Was it Will? Why was he so offended that my name was tagged?
I think he thought I was. Yeah, I think he thought I was calling him Will Ben. I think he thought. Yes. It was pretty funny, but
good.
yeah.
All good. Man, well, I'll tell you what. Here's my main question, and I want to see it from your guys' expert opinion.
Mm-hmm.
What I would say about last night. My wife wanted to rip her ears off every time I saw any one of the Nets players throw up a three.
Mm-hmm.
As ridiculous as the shot looked, it seemed like it was always going in.
Yeah.
And that's not going to happen to us every night. I totally understand that. But with that being said, obviously that got us into a very quick deficit. Now, I saw this spark in the Kings when Mike Brown kind of went off on the refs, right? And we got a little bit of energy and some good energy going after that. And, that's great and all. But then I also noticed when we were about at the 8 or 9 point of the fourth quarter, and then I think it was right around the 5 or 6 minute mark of the fourth quarter that De'Aaron went out 8 or 9, and then came back in around the 5th or 6th, which is, we're approaching clutch time. And I saw just a huge drop off when he went out in the fourth quarter. And I'm thinking, man, is it only De'Aaron? Now, I know we're missing Monk, but what is our remedy to this? Because we had wide open threes by Keegan and by Kevin that they weren't hitting. And it seemed like Brooklyn was hitting every three they put up there. So what is the remedy to this? Because I see our team playing very hard now. You saw a lot of good defensive plays, a lot of hustle plays, right? You love to see that, and especially the fans in Sacramento. We love seeing that effort on the defensive end. Why are we still behind? Why is this happening? I appreciate you guys. Thanks for fitting me in. I'm on my way to a VA appointment right now, so I really appreciate you getting me in.
Thanks for the call, Ben, and thank you for the service. Thank you for your service. I will say this. The Kings, they're no longer last, okay? They are 26th. So they were, at one point, they were 30th in the league, which would be last. Atlanta is still last. Who they lost to? Atlanta is still last in opposing three-point percentage.
But at least Keon hit 9 threes against Atlanta.
Yeah, funny enough, Kyle, you know who's second to last?
Well, let me guess.
It's surprised they're not a bad team.
They're not a bad team.
They're a very good team.
Oh, a very good team. Okay. Is it Boston?
The Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, wow.
Second to last in opponent three-point percentage. They're at 37. The Hawks are at 39. That's terrible. That is terrible. The Suns are 28th with 37.7. So the Kings are actually tied with the Pelicans and Suns for, what is it, second to last or third to last, whatever it is.
Yeah,
They're
tied 26. For 26.
Yeah, tied for 26. So that's where the Kings are at right now as far as opponent three-point percentage. We have the sound, and we're going to get to you, Steven and Spees, but real quick, what Ben was saying, we have the sound from that explosion where, to be completely honest, Mike Brown probably should have been ejected. I think he was prepared to be ejected. He did not get ejected, and here's what it sounded like.
Bad pass by Ben Simmons, stolen by Kobe Jones. Going to challenge him. Simmons blocks the shot attempt. Here come the Nets on the run. High pass to the corner, 3 on the way. Add 3 more to the tally as Noah Clowney knocks down the 3 ball. 54-35. We got technical fouls called here against the Kings by Scott Twardowski. Boy, Mike Brown is hot. De'Aaron Fox is hot. Jay Triano's in front of Brown trying to make sure, and security, Sean Rogers.
After that tech, the Kings, up until the point where they tied it at 82-82?
No, this is when they took the lead late in the third quarter, so 88-85.
88-85. After the tech, the Kings outscore the Nets 53-31. Okay, and then you start thinking, okay, here comes the run. They're a better team. It's clutch time. You got DeRozan, you got Fox, and it's the Nets. they should take care of business. That didn't end up being the case.
And it wasn't like they went on some giant run that brought it back. It was like 4 points here, 4 points here, 4 points here. And they eventually took the lead right at the end. I think Keegan had the dunk right at the end there, but it was like bit by bit, they brought the lead back over like 15 minutes. And then once they took the lead, the one that was most frustrating is right after that 53-31 run was the 0.4 seconds on the clock where they made all those subs. And then I think it was Cam Thomas just buried a 3-pointer at the buzzer anyways to end the third quarter. And it was like, okay, now we're tied. We've brought the score back, but we just brought in Alex Len and brought in our big lineup and they just buried a 3 anyways.
And I know a lot of people are kind of confused on Cam Thomas's value. I'll tell you what, because he's a chucker and he's not that big and he's kind of a tweener. I'll tell you what, he seemed to be very valuable last night. That guy can shoot the basketball and he can get his shots. Now, again, I can't even call it losing basketball because they won last night. Okay, so I'm more interested in Cam Johnson, and I'm going to give Kevin Huerter his just due. The beginning of that fourth quarter, Kevin Huerter locked up Cam Johnson. I was impressed. We need more of that, especially he had 11 points. He was 1 of 5 from the 3-point line. So I was impressed in spurts. That's all fine and good. But it's just a lot of the starting lineup and nothing else. And I think what we're learning is your starting lineup all of them can put up double digits, and you're going to lose to the Nets.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now in the league.
Well, that's the difference when you have plus 35 in bench points in terms of Brooklyn versus the Kings.
And then you say, okay, well, you're going to get Malik Monk back. We're assuming health. These guys, the Nets just won without Dennis Schroeder. You lost to the Clippers without Norman Powell. So I don't want to hear it the same way the Packers didn't want to hear it about the Niners playing without their guys. Packers said, we won 3 games without Jordan Love. So everybody is dealing with stuff. And you have DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox. That's just not going to look good. Steven, what you got for us?
Good morning, man. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Getting through this week.
That's right, baby. That's right, man. Hopefully it's a good half week for you, man. Hopefully you get some good grub this week, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome, man. You're very welcome. The one thing I kind of had, I don't want to say an issue with, but I was giving me questions about last night's play was why was everyone closing out on Ben Simmons so hard?
Yeah.
That was a big problem for me, and I felt like that was something that I really felt like could have been an easy in-game adjustment. You just back off of him and let him shoot the ball because he doesn't want to shoot the ball anyway. And everybody in the league knows that. That's the part that baffles me was just that alone, man. Ben Simmons does not want to shoot the ball. He is a big man. He can block the ball for his position. Oh my goodness, can he? Because he's so big and long. But the man just doesn't want to shoot. I feel like he's lost his passion for playing basketball. It's been noted over the years because he's got his own he's been going through his mental struggles as well, kind of similar to DeRozan, and my hat's off to him. I'm all about that mental health life, you know what I mean? So mental health's the best health. So it's just, that was baffling to me why everyone was closing out on Ben Simmons so hard when you had other people cashing out and just making them, man. It was a rough game to watch, man. Being a Niner fan and a Kings fan, man, that was just not a good day for sports.
Yeah. Rough stuff there, but look, you're going to have another opportunity. Thank you, Steven. Steven, you bring up an outstanding point because I noticed this against the Clippers. There was a play where, and the names I'm going to say here, no disrespect to them whatsoever. But Nicholas Batum, so Mike Brown, and we're going to play this sound eventually, but these calls are on fire right now. We want you guys, this is your show. We want you to keep them coming. Mike Brown calls certain shooters hot guys, and we need to protect the hot guys. And I believe you can become a hot guy throughout the game if you start shooting the ball well.
Yeah, I remember Katie was talking about this on the broadcast.
Yes. So you have Nick Batum on the Clippers, who he was a hot guy on Friday. He could not miss, right? I watched the Kings converge on Terrence Mann 3 or 4 Kings players converge on Terrence Mann, giving Nicholas Batum a wide open corner 3 time and time again. That cannot be what they practice. That cannot be what they are supposed to do. It just makes absolutely no sense. And if this guy, Nicholas Batum, he's hitting, all right? That's what he does at this point in his career. He's literally there to hopefully he's like PJ Tucker. He wants to shoot the shortest 3 in the court, on the court. And you allow him to do that because you're converging on Terrence Mann, who's not even starting on that Clippers team. I mean, it's just mind-boggling stuff to where it's I know you're still trying to figure out your defensive identity. You lose Jordan Fernandez. I understand that, but that's just common sense to me. Please, Terrence Mann, do your worst. Let's see what you can cook up. If we're gonna have guys that we're gonna say that Keegan Murray is an elite defender, and we're gonna say that Keon Ellis is an elite defender, why are we sending 14 dudes in the paint, leaving wide open 3s when you already can't defend the 3-ball well? When you do get your alligator arms up and attempt to block it, I don't understand that. I know we're up against it. Spees and GP, we see ya. We will get to you on the other side. I'm talking to Kyle now. We're going to make sure we get through these breaks quickly because we want to get everybody going here. All right, Spees, GP, we see you. We'll keep the conversation going. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Timeshare and you want out. You need to get the facts. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has helped over 40,000 families cancel their timeshares permanently, and he may be able to help you too. Call right now, and Chuck will send you a timeshare exit information guide for free. It explains how your timeshare works and all your options for cancellation. You want to call 800-761-0000. That's 800-761-0000. Paid for by Wesley Financial Group.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
Toyota's Black Friday sales event ends soon. Take advantage of the biggest savings of the year and gear up for adventure in a legendary Toyota truck.
Ready, set, let's go.
Get $2,000 cash back on Tundra and Tundra Hybrid, or lease a Tacoma 4x4 for as low as $269 a month. The clock is ticking on Toyota's Black Friday sales event. Don't miss out. Toyota, let's go places. Offer available through TFS to buyers with premium ready credit and small 224.
Ready to make this Christmas unforgettable? Shop early and save at Prestigio Jewelers' biggest Black November sale ever. For over 30 years, Prestigio Jewelers has offered in-house financing and fine jewelry. Guaranteed credit approval between $400 and $10,000 with no money down options. Prestigio Jewelers, the perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. With locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno, or online at prestigiojewelers.com.
It's Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, and guess what? Primetime football is back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high-hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. As always, offering the best food, the best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. So check them out, Capital Casino, and always remember to gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a My Lowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
NBAstore.com, the official online store of the NBA, and the world's largest selection of officially licensed NBA fan gear. With unique designs by Fanatics, Nike, and all the latest styles for every NBA team, plus one-of-a-kind products and authentic collectibles. Shop now and get today's special offer. NBAstore.com, a Fanatics experience.
Black Friday savings on now on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy.
With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates, every new 2025 half-ton LT, RST, LT's in high country in stock at Maida Chevy.
Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, time of offers. Ends 12/1/24. Source internet search 11/2/24.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
At one point, the Kings were down 19. I did like they were running a lot of baseline plays. I saw, they were getting a lot of easy twos, which was nice. It was really nice. And then they would give up a three. So, like I said, getting back to math and GPAs, that's not going to work. Not going to work. We still have plenty of sound from the post game yesterday. Mike Brown's, as we mentioned, his initial statement when he gets to the podium. We will play that for you. It gives you a breakdown and a look into kind of what he saw from the game, and then a couple of the questions that he answers. We have that. We have DeMar DeRozan. We have De'Aaron Fox. But we also have your calls. Most importantly, we have your calls. How are you feeling? GP, we see you, but Spees has been waiting patiently. What's up, Spees? Happy Monday. What you got for us?
Hey, Stalin, what's up, man? Hey, you said you didn't know who Noah Clowney was?
No, I didn't.
He is who Monty passed up on for Kobe Jones.
Wow.
For some reason, they hate when they get passed up by Sacramento. Like a bunch of other teams passed on you too, buddy. But I'm just I'm here to say, are the talking heads right? Are the talking heads? I hate to agree with them, but they always said, well, how is he going to fit? Great addition, but how is he going to fit? Talking about DeMar DeRozan.
Right.
And it's like, okay, we got 20-plus scoring from DeMar DeRozan, but it seemed like everything else is dropped off. We really need DeRozan to be an addition and not a new peg. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but you're asking somebody who's been a first option his entire life to be a third option, and that means changing his habits. And at 36, it's not an easy thing to change. I'm 36. I'm still trying to change habits, man. And it's like, I think it's dropping off the rest of the team. They're getting to spots, but they're not their spots. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. No, thanks for the call, Spees. And look, we talked a little bit about it last week. People, I thought DeMar DeRozan wasn't going to be a fit. I saw articles written from Sacramento media. DeMar DeRozan has fit seamlessly. Are you sure? Because I see him scoring seamlessly, but a fit to be seamless means that the team is, I guess, seamlessly because they're the same as they were. They're not worse than last season, but they're not better.
It was going great when DeRozan was playing like a number one scoring option. In the first 8 games of the season, he was increasing his scoring averages, which, if he goes from being a number one in Chicago to being a number 3 or number 2, Sabonis, obviously, number 2 in Sacramento, you would think those numbers would go down. His numbers were going up. It's just after the back spasms and obviously the last 2 games is a small sample size, but it's just after the injuries, it felt like that DeMar DeRozan we were seeing just hasn't been there. I mean, he was clanking shots last night. He had the air ball that Domas put back.
He didn't play well in Inglewood either. Yep. And we thought I was on with Jay, and whatever Jay's, if you were listening on Friday, and I'm gonna talk to Jay when he comes in here. Whatever Jay's over-under was for DeMar DeRozan. He did not get close. He did not, because Jay thought because Kendrick dropped, DeMar was going to ball out. And it was a good theory, but it did not happen that way. And I'll tell you this much. Being healthy enough to play does not equal 100% health, to your point, Kyle. He's on the court and he's playing. He does not look 100% to me.
I mean, we saw that in the last game he played where he had to leave at halftime with back spasms. I mean, it was 2 points, 2 shots.
He does not look completely healthy, but you're healthy enough to play, so that's all we can go with. But if you're actually watching, DeMar DeRozan right now doesn't seem to fully be there. But even still, it's not like they were 8-0 before he got injured. They've been kind of messing around here anyway, and now you throw in the trials and tribulations of a season. It's tough. And when you have a thin bench and you have a thin roster, everything gets highlighted
real quick,
little bit.
Before we move on from Spees, just to clarify what he said. So Noah Clowney was the Nets' first-round pick in that draft class. He was picked 21. If you remember, the Kings had the 24 pick that year.
Yeah.
So the Kings ended up trading it away, to move Rashawn Holmes' contract, basically. So they didn't end up drafting a first-round pick that year, but Clowney was a first-rounder for Brooklyn.
But they couldn't have gotten, if he went 20, they couldn't have gotten Sacramento, or Sacramento couldn't have gotten Clowney.
They could not have gotten Noah Clowney, who, by the way, I didn't know this, is from Spartanburg, South Carolina, which has a NBA pipeline going on out there.
Him and Zion.
And Ja Morant.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of NBA. There's more, but there's a bunch of NBA players who come from Spartanburg.
Thank you for that, Kyle. And only the Kings can make you wake up on Monday morning and do a deep dive on Noah Clowney. That is classic Kings right there.
He's going to be one of those names in the lore, like Julian Champagny.
That's right. What is he? 18 points. 916-339-1140. AC, we see you. But GP has been waiting patiently. What's up, GP? Welcome to the show. What you got?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good, man. Good. How about yourself?
Good, man. Just wanted to talk some Kings basketball, man. Just, frustrated like everybody else is, but I think we don't have anybody else to blame but ourselves when we go out and the front offices goes and drafts somebody who's already hurt. When we need size, we need defensive help. As you can tell, on the perimeter, we're getting killed. If you've seen Timberwolves had their best scoring, best 3-point shooting against us. The Phoenix Suns did. The Clippers did. And now these guys, So out there, we have no help. If somebody's, showing, if Sabonis can't be the only one showing, Sabonis and Keegan,
Yeah.
And then we put Lynn in at the last second, and the guy you guys are talking about, Clowney, hit the shot on him. Len was nowhere in his vicinity until the shot went up, and I think part of it has to do with the defensive schemes that we have going on. I get it. It's a new season. Everybody's picking up on new things, but still, it's the same old Kings with the defense. Like, we got to play better defense. Like, these guys should be juiced. We got DeMar. We got other shooters on the team. Like, we picked up McDermott. Like, hey, let's go out there and play some defense so we get some easy ones,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, thanks for the call, GP. That's great stuff right there. The craziest part about the bench is that it's not as if the bench was cold. They had 9 points. Keon had all of them. Besides Keon, there were only 4 shots taken. So, to be completely honest with you, I'm looking at, so Trey Lyles goes 0 for 2 from free throw and 0 for 1. So Trey Lyles had a couple opportunities, but 0 for 1 from field goal. Colby Jones took 3 shots. He was a minus 16 in 17 minutes. Trey Lyles played 19 minutes. He was a minus 6. He took 1 shot. He was 0 for 2 from free throw. By the way, they shot 64.5% from the free throw line. So that's back. I guess they have returned there, but it's not like the bench was cold. They're just not even taking shots. They're just not even threats. They're not even factors. That's the issue. Let's get to AC. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, AC? You're on with Allen Stiles. What you got?
Hey, Alan, I want to let you know that I got my Alexa playing Sports 1140 at volume 10 throughout my house, so I can hear you when I'm doing my regular stuff.
Oh, great. Thank you. Appreciate that. I hope I'm not too – I know I'm a little loud today, AC. Hopefully not. You might turn me down a little bit.
Oh, it's good. It's good. So this is going to sound controversial, and people think I'm crazy, but everyone keeps talking about defense. Guess what? If you don't make 3-point shots, you're losing the game.
Yeah.
There's no defense that's going to recover from missed shots, right? And for whatever reason, we're missing. But if anyone really wants to look at the one-loss records, Brooklyn is going to be an Eastern playoff team. You heard this. They're in position 9 right now. They're a decent team. We're not giving them enough credit. They were wrapped all over our people. And because of the new rules, the refs are letting a lot of fouls go now that they didn't let go in the past, right? So it's not really, I don't want to say it's the Kings' fault, but let's face it. Jordy came in. He knew the Kings playbook. They were ramped up. The players probably wanted that game for them. I mean, there was a lot of things going against us. And like we talked about, not all of our stars are at full strength.
Yeah. I get you, AC. The problem is I'm okay with that. The problem is you're coming off of the Hawks loss and the Clippers loss. If they even the Hawks lost because you didn't have your guys, if they beat the Clippers, I'm probably more accepting of what you're saying, AC, but you can't combine both. You can't lose to the Clippers off 3 days rest with no Norman Powell, no Kawhi, and then lose to the Nets. That's the issue.
Yeah, it's 3 teams during the losing streak with a combined record going into those games of 21 and 26.
That's a problem. And to AC's point about the threes, the Nets took 39 threes to the Kings 25. The Nets made 10 more threes than the Kings. That math, especially when they're making it, but even so, you're just not giving yourself a chance. And it's crazy that here we are now talking about the Kings a year later, not taking enough threes. And if you don't think that's connected to DeMar DeRozan, then I don't know what to tell you. That's not to say it's a bad thing. I'm saying you can't take less threes, but then not defend the 3-point ball any better. That you can't combine those things. That's never going to work. All right. Well, last night we put up a poll about the Kings, whether or not they should shake up the starting lineup. So we put up a poll, and I said that I would read off some of the answers if you said yes to shake up the starting lineup. So I'm going to read off some of those answers. Help me out whether you agree with them or not. Let's keep the phone lines open, 916-339-1140. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Fall is here, and as winter approaches, your health and comfort are our top priority at Advanced Infusion Center. Whether you're managing a chronic condition or looking for IV therapy, our personalized treatments are designed just for you. Our dedicated team ensures your care is safe, comfortable, and supportive every step of the way. With locations in Sacramento and Yuba and flexible scheduling options, getting the care you need has never been easier. Discover compassionate care at Advanced Infusion Therapy today. Visit us at advancedinfusion.com for care close to home.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
At Makita, good enough is never enough. Anyone can throw in a stronger motor, but it takes precision to find that balance of power, performance, and longevity. We obsess over every detail. We design, test, redesign, and do it all over again to create tools that'll keep going with you from project to project, job site to job site, year after year. If it's not right, don't put your name on it. Makita, available at the Home Depot.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9998 now.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140. The only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
About to get to Rob here as we hit the 11 o'clock hour, but I wanted to at least start the conversation for the Kings and what you would do. So let me take a look at how the poll is still up on my X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it. So a bunch of comments. Right now, I asked the question, would you shake up the Kings starting lineup tomorrow? If you vote yes, tell me what you do, and we'll discuss tomorrow on the show, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. So I'm going to read off some of these answers. I'll read off number one. And look, like I said, got to keep everything in perspective. Obviously, this is not, I don't think this is going to be the reason there's a parade on J Street or not, but I thought this was a good one, and one of the best ones that I saw from Wilson at Heel Willow on X. He says, sign Jay Crowder, cut McDermott if you have to. Doesn't matter how old. We need another playable wing who knows his role and offers at least some effort on defense. Keegan cannot be playing so many minutes. Also, bench Herter for Keon if you want to start games more balanced. So that second part, that's what most people said. Get Keon in there for Kevin Herter. I didn't think Kevin Herter played poorly yesterday, but I understand. And you need some type of shooting off the bench. And, I understand why people would say that. As far as the Jay Crowder thing, we know that he worked out with the Kings and they end up signing McDermott. I'm like I said, I'm tired of these stupid Hulu remakes of shows like Clippers and things that we already know have happened. Can we find a way to get tape on these workouts? Because I need to know how bad it was or what went wrong there, because to that point, and I like Doug McDermott, but and Jay Crowder, I don't think he got picked up by anybody.
Nope,
I think
he's still available.
I think he's waiting around I don't know how much leverage he has versus what other teams are interested in him. It might be a little bit of both. But my question is, what did that look like? Because to that point, and they probably were thinking, well, we need shooting off the bench as well. But you already got Keon off the bench who can shoot. You have Kevin Herter, who is a shooter. He's in the starting lineup. But Jay Crowder can shoot the three ball too. And like I said, I know he's older, and Wilson is acknowledging how old he is. But again, it's not a great conversation to be having, but this is where we're at right now on a bench that is just not doing anything. I thought Jordan McLaughlin not playing yesterday was a little bit bizarre too, but that was one of the top comments that I saw as far as what the Kings could do. So yeah, I have no clue what happened with that Jay Crowder workout. Maybe it didn't work out. Maybe Jay Crowder wanted a larger role. He's sitting on his couch right now, so apparently nobody wanted to give him that role. But yeah, I don't know what happened there, Wilson. It seems like that would have made a little bit more sense. At least he's a dog. Talk about going down 20 and using timeouts. Mike Brown likes the guys to keep themselves accountable. Jay Crowder will keep you accountable. I will say that. So I like that. It might sound crazy, but being 8-9 is crazy when you played the Hawks and the Nets without guys missing or with guys missing and Clippers as well.
It's something, right?
It's something.
And I think if your concern is the roster construction at this point, I think that's probably not going to involve a 10-day Juan Toscano-Anderson fixing your problems, right? I think if you are someone who thinks this roster cannot get to the place that they want to get to, that's going to be a larger conversation of like what transaction is going to have to be made, what piece we're going to have to trade, what draft picks we're going to have to trade, and how it kind of all pieces together. But in the short term, I mean, a Jay Crowder or a 10-day, even if it's Jay Crowder on a 10-day, that's better when the injuries are happening.
Yeah.
So if you want to do that, now's the time to do that. That's if you're saying, I don't think Doug McDermott's going to cut it, or I don't think Colby Jones or any of the Joneses are going to cut it getting 15 to 20 minutes a game just out of necessity. Or, I mean, we haven't seen Orlando Robinson in a few games. You know what happened to that experiment. So if you think that you need just someone to fill minutes, I think that's the route to go.
916-339-1140. Let's get to Rob. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Rob? You're all down Styles. What you got for us?
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Well, I was kind of calling for a few reasons, but then I got to side with you. Thank you for saying what you said about Herter. I don't think he played terrible last night. I mean, okay, he's missing his threes. One thing I've started to see with Herter is when he's missing his threes, he's starting to work hard in other places. I mean, if you just look at his numbers, I think he was 3 of 3 from 2. He had 2 blocks, and he was 2 of 2 from the line. So, okay, he's 1 of 5 from 3, but then the rest of the night and the rest of the sets, he's not looking bad. He's working his butt off to contribute.
Yeah.
I can't fault the guy for that. What I'm seeing mainly is it's like we're complacent on defense. They're just not getting after it enough, and I don't know that it's a talent thing. I think you guys have talked a lot about it on the show before. Defense is one of those things that you can teach to a degree. You have to have a guy who wants to just go get it every single night. And I'm not saying we don't have enough guys like that like don't want it, but then you got to combine that with some defensive talent. And I agree. I think you push to make Keegan a defensive, a stopper. He's going to slow down on the other end of the court, and those minutes are just he's getting eaten alive at the beginning of the season. I think by those minutes, I don't think he's there yet. And it's not a knock against him. He's a young guy. I think he could get there, but that's a lot of pressure to put on him. I think maybe we should look to bring in a Jay Crowder, on a 10-day to see, hey, could we get a guy who's going to come in here and maybe just because of his attitude, stepping on the floor every day, where he's going to be that hard-nosed guy who you don't want to get in a fight with Jay Crowder. You don't want to mess with him, but he's also going to play just stand-up defense anytime he's on the floor. And that could help, change the mentality. But I mean, it's got to be more than a one or two thing. I think 1 or 2 things to fix the team. And I don't know if shaking the lineup is the best idea. But at the same time, something needs to change. I'm looking at Trey Lyles. I've been wondering. I've never been in love with Trey Lyles. I like how hard he works. I love his attitude. I love what he brings from a mental standpoint. But when he disappears on offense, he is nowhere to be found, and he hurts this team because he's supposedly one of our best bigs coming off the bench. And when you shoot one shot and go 0 of 2 from the line, I mean, I'm asking myself in 19 minutes, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's the thing. And thanks for the call, Rob, as always. You can't have a thin bench and then the guys that are supposed to be contributing on the bench are not contributing. It's one thing to have a thin bench, hey, where it's going to be tough. It's going to be an 8-man rotation, but our 8 dudes are legit. You can't have an 8-man rotation, but out of the 3 guys on the bench, you got Keon. Sure, you got Keon who's doing his thing. You got Malik who's been injured, and then you got Trey Lyles who is the rotation for the big men, and Trey Lyles just isn't really giving you much. I don't think he played terrible when Sabonis was out, but again, you played the Jazz and the Hawks.
Rob made the point that Trey Lyles is probably the best bench option right now when it comes to a big. Yeah. Right now, he's the only bench option as a big.
He's supposed to be the best option. That's it.
Last night, you have 4 minutes from Doug McDermott, who's not playing the 4, obviously. I mean, he's playing 3, but you're not putting Doug McDermott at the 4. He's arguably the worst defender on the team. And then you have 0.4 seconds played from Alex Len, and he was a -3. So it's like they're not playing Len. They're not playing Orlando Robinson. After the starting lineup, they've even when Len was starting, he only played with the starting group, and then the rest of the way it was either Sabonis at the 5 or Trey Lyles at the 5. That's the direction they've wanted to go. They sacrificed some things offensively, obviously doing that, but defensively doing that, but that's the choice they've made. Lyles is the only one who's coming in for Keegan or Domas.
Yeah, and I'm looking here as, a lot of people fell in love in the Trey Bays and all that started that Beam Team season, and I'm in 2022, 2023, and I'm looking here at the points. I mean, Trey Lyles, he was averaging 7.6 points per game. He was playing 16.9 minutes per game. And, from 3-point line, I think that's the big piece of this. What's crazy is Trey Lyles shot 36% from 3 that season, that Beam Team season. He actually shot better from 3 on more attempts last season. He shot 38% last season from 3 on 3.8 attempts. Now he only played 58 games, but he was right around what he did that Beam Team season. It didn't look the same because of injury. And like I said, 74 games to 58 games. He did play more minutes. He played 20 minutes a game last season to 16.9. That Beam Team season, he scored 7.2 points last season. And right now he's at 5.6. So honestly, I think this is his 10th year in the league. So honestly, I think this turns into maybe the Kings feeling like Trey Lyles was going to improve and get somewhere that he hadn't really been before. I mean, he averages in 10 years in the league, he averages 7.7 points per game.
And Trey Lyles said after the Beam Team season that this was the best season he's had of his career. This was the first place he felt like he really, really fit in. And I think because of all that, they brought him back, and there was no question they were going to bring him back. And the mentality back then was the Beam Team has earned the right to run it back after the season they put forth before. And now Lyles is in the second year of that 2-year contract. It's not looking like he's going to come back. A good chunk of the Beam Team has been broken up. And so I don't think Trey Lyles has struggled that much this year. I feel like that part of it's been overblown at times, but this is a different team than where Trey Lyles had his success. When he was the corner 3 guy, when he was the spray 3s, and I remember Jordy brought up the point back when he was the assistant coach that Lyles would always pump fake every time, and so they had to learn to correct the pump fake out of him because it was a tell when he would get the ball in the corner. That success that he had was playing for a different style of offense and a different roster construction than where it is now. And I think that they're asking him to be the backup 4 and the backup 5, all while he is in his 10th year and trying to get into an offensive rhythm.
They brought him back and asked him to do more. Right? The expectations changed, and I think that Trey Lyles is who he is at this point. He's 29 years old. He's been in the league for 10 years, and they brought him back last season expecting him to maybe take some sort of leap and put more on his plate. And that with Thanksgiving around the corner, Trey Lyles hasn't been able to eat everything that's been on the plate so far. So I don't think it's as much as Trey Lyles not giving enough. I think it's more about the Kings asking Trey Lyles to do more than they had in the past and us finding out, okay, that's just not who Trey currently is. Maybe Trey shouldn't be your first big off the bench. Maybe he should be your second guy, but the Kings, that's not the case right now. We got to get to the other side, and we will hear from Coach Mike Brown as he sits down, as he does after every game, and it's much easier to grab these when they're at home, so we have more of these when they're at home. He gives his initial thoughts on what happened last night. We hear from DeMar DeRozan, De'Aaron Fox as well, and you. Keep the calls coming, the texts coming, and the Sack Chat, of course. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Welcome to Staples.
Help! My family's in for the holidays and I need gift ideas.
That's why we're here. Staples has amazing deals on everything you need. Photo gifts, laptops, and gaming systems. Even custom holiday cards and shipping solutions to send gifts to the family that can't make it.
Perfect! Have anything for Uncle Frank? I love him, but the guy is never quiet.
Noise-canceling headphones. For you.
You get it.
Unwrap huge holiday savings at Staples. And right now at Staples, save up to $350 on select computers. Ends 12/28, in-store only.
Harbor Freight knows tool people like to keep busy. But with our Black Friday sale coming up Thanksgiving weekend, you'll want to free up some time. We're talking deals like our 5,000-watt generators under $800, 17-foot ladders for $99.99, and 40% off Icon Pro socket sets. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 12/2/24. While supplies last. Limitations apply.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Now everybody from the 313, can you figure out a way for the Kings to defend the three? That's what we're really asking here. B-Rabbit, nobody's going to be able to help you. You got to figure it out on your own. Ain't no such thing as halfway closeouts. That's what we're talking about here. 11 o'clock hour. First hour flew by, plenty of calls, and we're going to keep the calls rolling along. But I did want to get to this because this is something that a lot of people, yes, we know you follow all of the Sacramento Kings media members, but sometimes it's hard to see because so much is being posted. So we really like highlighting this for you after games to get a pulse on how Coach Mike Brown feels. Like I said, after every game, he'll come to the post-game presser before he says before he gets any questions. He gives his thoughts on what happens, and this is what he had to say last night.
Obviously, tough loss. These guys hit shot after shot after shot from the three-point line in the first half. You got to give them credit for knocking it down, but you know there was 3 threes that they hit that their hot players hit. Cameron is a hot player for them, and both the Cam Thomas a hot player. So Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, and we told our guys we can't stop short with your hands down and let them shoot the basketball. They hit 3 threes in the first quarter because we didn't do our job or do what we're supposed to do against a hot shooter. And we have to get better at that. And when they hit those threes, when those guys hit those threes, the whole team felt comfortable. And there was no sense of urgency by us to get to anybody else. They saw the ball go in a handful of times in that first quarter, and then they rolled from there from the three-point line. But you know, to give up 13 made threes the way we did in the first half, it's tough to live with. It's tough to live with. On top of that, you know, we turned the ball over. We had 16 turnovers for 24 points. Somehow, some way, we have to do a better job of taking care of the basketball. You can't let a team come in here and turn you over the way we did with some of the passes we made. It takes away from your ability to get a shot attempt, and it gives them the advantage going the other way in transition. And, you know, I thought we had a lot of that a couple of nights ago at the Clippers. So somehow, some way, we got to do a better job of taking care of the ball. And, you know, I don't know what it is, but we shot the ball very well from the free throw line to start the season. And, you know, it was a 1.5 possession game down the stretch, and we missed 11 free throws. So, you know, you look at the free throw line, you look at our turnovers and the points off our turnovers that we gave up, and our inability to guard the three the way we're supposed to in the first half, and it ends up in a loss. So tough, but we got to bounce back because we got another one tomorrow.
And it's a big one. It's a big one. You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in the crew, and those guys defend. Those guys defend the basketball. Those guys get after it. You got Isaiah Hartenstein back. Okay, you got some dudes that are not messing around, and they have bad intentions for the Western Conference.
Number 1 defensive rating in the league.
There you go. The free throws that he mentioned again, 16 turnovers, the free throws. DeMar DeRozan 4 for 6. Honestly, felt like he missed more. I don't know why, but it does. Keegan Murray, I mean, good on him for getting to the line 8 times. That is not typical, but he went 6 of 8. De'Aaron Fox, 8 of 12. He'd been great from free throw. Kevin Huerter, 2 for 2. Trey Lyles, 0 for 2. And Keon Ellis, 0 for 1. And the Keon Ellis, that was a tech. And Keon Ellis, they chose him. I believe De'Aaron Fox was on the floor.
Yep.
They chose Keon Ellis, and he missed it.
Yeah.
So, and I believe that happened with Malik Monk last season. So they don't know who. That's not a great sign.
They don't know who the best free throw shooters are.
They don't know who to pick. They don't know who to pick. So that's what the Kings are dealing with right now. We have sound again from DeMar DeRozan, who talks about how the team feels right now, and De'Aaron Fox. Let's get to Al, who wants to be a part of the conversation. Love that name, by the way. Al, you're on with Al and Stiles. What you got?
Hey, how you guys doing? My brother Rory says hi, by the way. I'd like to talk a little bit about roster construction. We all know it's flawed, and you could see it last night. The Nets are a big team. They get to the basket. They're athletic. The Kings are a bit of a slower team with, a little bit of a deficiency when it comes to length. So that really showed up last night. But here's what I want to talk about, my friends. We have the two last consecutive clutch players of the year in DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox. I don't know if anybody's bothered to look, but if you look at the fourth quarter scoring this season, it's been pretty pathetic for the Sacramento Kings. They're losing a lot of games in the fourth quarter. I just want to kind of get your take on what's going on with having these great clutch players that have a proven track record for being great in the fourth quarter, and then to be able to not really score in the fourth. That seems like where we're maybe coming up short.
Thanks for the call, Al. And yeah, shout out to Rory as well. I think it's a lot of hot potato. I joked with Jay last week on Friday about when you played Foursquare and two people played Tea Party and they just pass back and forth to each other, or ping pong, whatever you want to call it. I think that there are parts of the transition that we expected, right? Or that are more acceptable. I think this was one of them. Hey, DeMar, do you want to take over in the fourth quarter tonight? Or De'Aaron Fox, hey, De'Aaron, is it your turn? I know I've been out. Which way do we want to go here? So
it's not like Malik is a schmuck in the fourth either.
Right. Hey, Malik, and he hasn't been playing, but hey, Malik, do you want to get yours here? So I do think there is a level of this. I do think that they have downplayed getting DeMar DeRozan into the fold and how tough that's been. Because you're right, Al. You got DeMar, who was top in clutch player voting. I believe it went to Steph Curry, but DeMar was second or third. He was right up there. De'Aaron Fox, he won it that first inaugural season of the award. So what's the problem? And earlier in the season, it hadn't been a problem. We were more so talking about, why are y'all in all these close games? But I think now it's a combination where it's, why are you in a close game with the Nets, number one? And number two, why are you losing a close game with the Nets?
Here's the stats from last night. I made this note in our game logs. DeRozan, Sabonis, and Fox, the three stars in the fourth quarter, combined for 10 points, shot 3 of 17 from the field. De'Aaron Fox specifically in the fourth quarter, 0 for 3 from the field, 1 point at the free throw line, played pretty much the entire fourth quarter, 9.5 minutes. So it was just struggling to find a basket. They finished the game 4 for 22 from the field last night. The final 9.5 minutes, they were just looking for any way to buy a bucket. It was Sabonis missing at the rim. It was DeRozan missing in the mid-range. Yeah. It just DeRozan ended up going 3 for 8 in the fourth quarter, which was better than the rest of the group. It was just struggling to find a basket any way that they could.
We will hear from DeMar DeRozan about that fourth quarter and what in the world happened on the other side. Let's keep the calls coming, 916-339-1140. I don't even know I'm about to call out the number today. Everybody seems to know it today, got things to say. Well, we want to hear from you. The rest of the city wants to hear from you. Be a part of the show as we continue on up until 2 p.m. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Ram Power Days now that Black Friday is here?
We are finishing the year strong by stocking up on new heavy-duty Ram trucks with over 300 available. And with savings up to $17,000 off MSRP, your perfect Ram truck is waiting at Hoblet.
Well, that's some pretty big savings on those hard-to-find heavy duties.
Yep, and you won't find better deals on more Ram trucks than at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. There's a reason we continue to be one of the biggest Ram dealers in the country, with numerous customer service awards, including the very prestigious Walter P. Chrysler Award, which means we are in the top 1% of dealers in the nation. Once you buy from Hoblet, you won't buy anywhere else.
Don't miss the savings at Hoblet. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
17,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 2500 tradesmans after 10,500 factory rebates and 6,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include 3,000 Hoblet select inventory coupons, 500 on-the-job upfit incentive with proof of business ownership, and 2,000 Hoblet trade-in assistance for eligible trade-ins. 5 of this net savings, see dealer for details. Sample VIN 238277.
Black Friday is on its way at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet, and there's no better place to shop for all your power tools. Low price Makita Bear tools starting at $89, Makita batteries starting at just $49, and many more of the year's hottest deals. November 25th through December 2nd. That's right, one whole week of crazy deals on power tools. So don't forget, our Black Friday sale will be November 25th through December 2nd. Check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road or online at fastenersinc.net.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the ultimate lunch lineup boasts wall-to-wall sports and scenic views. When you're hungry and in a hurry, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch. I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks Scratch Kitchen scores every time. Dig into hand-smashed burgers, chef-inspired flatbreads, and more at your local lodge.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Every club on the shelves can be tried for free on the driving range. 3 TrackMan units and a Hagen Oaks team of skilled fitting professionals provide the finest club fitting experience. Our personable Super Shop staff will show you the newest to help you look and play your best. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
Ready to make this Christmas unforgettable? Shop early and save at Prestigio Jewelers' biggest Black November sale ever. For over 30 years, Prestigio Jewelers has offered in-house financing and fine jewelry. Guaranteed credit approval between $400 and $10,000 with no money down options. Prestigio Jewelers, the perfect jewelry, the perfect price, helping you build perfect credit. With locations in Sacramento, Stockton, Merced, and Fresno. Or online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
The holidays can be tough for some, especially if things from your past are still following you around to this day. Now, don't be afraid of your past this upcoming holiday season, as an expungement can help. And that's where the law offices of Jonathan Gonzalez comes in, as he's local and has a great track record. Now that expungement can help you get a job, get your life back in order, and you'll also get your constitutional rights back. He's offering discounts on expungements now through Christmas. Call 916-304-9187. That's 916-304-9187.
The holidays are always a great time to get together with family and friends, but nothing beats the thrill of Stockton Honda's deals. During Happy Honda Days, find the perfect ride in person or online. With over 400 new Hondas ready to go, now is the time to buy at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number 1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company, L1 report.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
from the 916. They're in these close games. Allen Stiles with you, taking up to 2 p.m. Kyle Ledbetter. Plenty of sound today. Kyle is earning his paycheck. Appreciate you, Kyle. And a lot of calls today as well. Let's keep them coming. And texts. I feel like I got to get to the text line a little bit right now. The 916, they are in these close games because they can't shoot and they can't defend the three. That's it. To give up wide open threes, the other team gets confidence and they can't hit their own wide open threes or any threes. Yeah, 916. That's you got it. You got it. And that's what they've kind of talked about. They're not taking as many threes. They didn't shoot the three ball poorly. And by the way, you know what's crazy is these games these days where it's a Friday, Sunday, we're talking more about obviously what happened last night, but I don't know what was worse. I mean, I think the Clippers game was worse. I think. I'm pretty sure because the Clippers are 10-7, they are a better team.
I think
than the Nets.
I think the first half of that Clippers game was doing numbers.
That was the worst. Okay, I mean just terrible.
Literally the worst. The Kings have not had a first half under 30 points since 2014.
Yeah. I mean, you look back at Trey Lyles, 19 minutes with 0 points. That was last night against the Clippers, 18 minutes with 3 points. De'Aaron Fox had 29 against the Clippers. Domantas Sabonis had 24 with 15 rebounds.
And in terms of Lyles, this is coming off games where he was in the starting lineup and going 41 minutes, 35 minutes, 38 minutes, and putting up numbers. But, I mean, no one's expecting Trey Lyles to play 40 minutes a game.
Yeah, Kevin Huerter with a cardio game. He was 0 for 5 from the field. He played 29 minutes, 0 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Keegan Murray, 10 points, 2 for 5 from 3, 4 for 11. He played 40 minutes. So these guys are logging ridiculous numbers or minutes with nothing to show for it. Colby Jones, I guess that's what started the Colby Jones regime, if you will, the Colby Jones movement. He played 6 minutes. He had 5 points in 6 minutes. So that's cool. 16 minutes for Keon Ellis with 1 single point.
Yeah, Colby Jones was kind of the lone bright spot of that first game, but
yeah, and Mike Brown wanted to reward that.
But guess what happened the next night? Let's look at that real quick. That would be 0 points in 17 minutes played and was a minus 16 worst on the team.
Yeah, so that's just that is where we're at right now, and who else is gonna get opportunities? All right, let's get to this DeMar DeRozan sound. I believe this should be on the fourth quarter and kind of what happened there. Here it is.
Missed shots, missed free throws. Simple as that. You know, they had some big shots. They had some big shots. We missed a lot of shots. Like you said, we only scored 15 points in the fourth. You know, we had it right there. You know, we just couldn't score when we needed to.
I'll tell you this much. I've sat in a good amount of post-game press conferences, even with DeMar DeRozan, after home losses. And the tone, a little bit different than after the Timberwolves game, where everybody, even myself, who I freak out immediately, even myself, we said, okay, first game, they lost, but they're gonna figure out some things. That was the first game of the season. So for all the it's early people out there, and you can hear it in his tone, it's starting to creep in that, hey, we can't let this thing slip away. We have sound on there how they feel right now that we'll get into as well. But Mike Brown, he had this to say about the Kings falling behind and just dealing with that and trying to overcome it. Here it is.
Right now, our level of physicality and attention to detail is not quite there. And like I said, Matty, in the first quarter alone, their 2 hot players had 3 made threes because we closed short with our hands down. And you can't let anybody, I don't care what their record is or what team they're on, if they can shoot, you got to what we call hip them. But there's got to be a sense of urgency and a little bit of physicality to your game. And right now, we're just easing into everything, and we have to do a better job. And it's a small detail. People will just see the made three, but they don't understand that, hey, this is the game plan against those guys, and this is how you have to stop those three. And so that little detail right there, like, we have to embrace it. We have to embrace what the game plan is, and this is 2 nights in a row too, that we come out and we don't execute the first play the right way. We walk through it in our walkthrough, and then we draw it up before the game. And 2 games in a row right now, we have executed it right. So our mindset has to be better going into these games on both sides of the floor in order for us to not let teams feel comfortable right away.
How do they do that? How do they do that? Our level of physicality is not where it needs to be. Jay Crowder, hello?
Well,
you busy?
Can we start by not playing Trey Lyles guarding 5s? Like, I get that they're sacrificing some things on defense to spread the floor and spray threes, and the offense dynamic changes when Sabonis isn't on the floor, but I think they're sacrificing too much.
That was supposed to be, I think, their secret weapon, because Trey, bounce back season, about a bit injured last season. You can run Trey at the 5. That's what a lot of teams been doing. I mean, the Nets, and not that I'm using them as a form of a successful team, rather, I do think they have a lot of good pieces. They're running Dorian Finney-Smith at the 5. I believe the Pelicans at one point were running Trey Murphy at the 5. So we know the Warriors have always done it with Draymond. So they're teams that do it, but whatever you're losing as far as the defense aspect, because Nick Claxton, like I said, Nick Claxton, he's been in and out, but he was not there. They started Dorian Finney-Smith.
Mm-hmm.
So the other teams are doing it, but it has to be worth it. And right now, the Kings doing it and what they're losing defensively, it's just not worth it, because you're not a master. Trey Lyles not a master facilitator, not spreading the floor the way he typically spreads the floor. So you're just there's a difference between we're running a small 5 and we're going to run you at the gym. There's a difference between that and just being undersized. And right now the Kings are just undersized.
But there's also a difference between Trey Lyles. Okay, Trey Lyles, you want to play him at 5. You want to run those lineups. Trey Lyles is your backup 5, but he's also your backup 4.
That's correct.
So when the Pelicans run those lineups where Trey Murphy's running at the 5, which I think Trey Murphy was doing that pretty consistently in the Warriors game, like, at least they have Brandon Ingram, who's 7 feet long.
Right. They got Herb Jones.
And it doesn't even have to be those guys. They at least even have Robinson Earl, who's like lengthy enough as a forward to defend. The Kings are just in a position where they only have one backup 4, and they've, by choice, decided to go one backup 5. And I guess I look at it like, I don't know as much as Mike Brown, obviously, and what they're trying to do. I just look at it like Orlando Robinson is there. Alex Len gave them minutes in the past. I don't understand why it's those players are never going to see the floor during the game. Even if it's 6 minutes when Sabonis is off the floor, I don't get it.
How do the Kings feel? What's the feeling in the locker room right now? We hear from De'Aaron Fox, El Capitan, and DeMar DeRozan, and we read your texts as we continue on. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
How is your job to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Your gas light's on. We need to fill up.
Gas around here is too expensive.
Don't drive all over searching for the lowest prices. Just download the free Upside app and get cash back for every gallon of gas you buy. I've already made around $200.
You can make that kind of cash back just for buying gas? I'm stopping now to download Upside and fill up my tank. Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Cash out anytime to your bank account, PayPal, or e-gift card. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code RADIO for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill up. That's promo code RADIO.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Holidays at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Your flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Got this sound from De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan. From the 530 on the text line, just have to realize some of these dudes just aren't the shooters we thought they were. Maybe Keegan, Kevin, etc. are simply average shooters. The sad realization that we have no, in all caps, snipers. Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's the case. Look, let me ask you this. If I told you, and again, this goes to what exactly is it that they want, the Kings want Keegan Murray to be? Because if I told you that Keegan Murray had 21 points, but he was 1 of 5 from 3-point range, there are two sides to this coin. You can say, that's great. He broke 20 and he didn't shoot the 3-ball very well and didn't even chuck up a bunch of threes. You could say, that's great. Keegan is growing. You could also say, well, he's supposed to be one of the best shooters on the team. He only took 5 threes and he was 1 of 5. So somebody like Keegan, what exactly is it that you want from him? So you can say, hey, look at Keegan expanding his game. That's great. 8 rebounds, got to the line 8 times. But then you look on the other hand and say, well, he's 1 for 5 or 3, and we shot 36%, which isn't bad. He only made 9. So do you need Keegan? I would argue what that Keegan that we saw last night, you're not really supposed to need that Keegan Murray. It's nice to have at some points, but I would much rather see Keegan put up 10 threes. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, Keegan hasn't been the problem in either of these losses, offensively or defensively. I think
he did not help against the Clippers. The Clippers was a bit rough. Last night, he had 21 points. I'm not going to come down Keegan's road when he had 21 points, but the Clippers game was kind of rough. But again, what are you asking him to do? He's only getting 5 threes up the last 2 games. He's 3 for 10 his last 10 threes. He's gotten 5 up a game.
I think the other thing with Keegan, and this is more specifically last night and going back to the Hawks game, is just that the foul trouble has been really getting to him recently. And that affects him because he was playing so many minutes. Like we talked about, the Kings are playing more minutes than any other team in the league. Well, Keegan himself is playing more minutes than anyone else in the league. Like first and foremost, we can talk Trey Lyles being back at 5 or Len or Orlando Robinson, which we've done a lot because the bench has scored 17 points in the last 2 games. But the bigger thing also is that they're playing Keegan a lot of minutes. And when Keegan gets into foul trouble early, it takes him off the floor. And then that exacerbates the problem of lack of forward depth because now Sabonis doesn't have rest, or you're playing Lyles at the 5 and DeRozan at the 4. You know, it's mixing and matching a bunch of different things. And when they didn't have DeRozan or Sabonis, I think they were better at going to other options and were able to survive better without Keegan on the floor. But the Hawks game, I mean, it was night and day. When Keegan fouled out of that game, it was night and day on the offensive end of the floor.
Let's hear from De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan. First, we'll hear from Foxy on the team's mindset right now.
I mean, we have to be better in the first half. We can't keep trying to fight back and expecting to win no matter who we go out there and play.
That was it. He was asked about, and the question was, how are you? How is the feeling in the locker room right now? So he was asked that, and DeMar DeRozan was also asked that, and this is what DeMar DeRozan had to say.
More so frustrated at ourselves, letting a couple games this season just slip away. Like y'all seen, slow first quarters, slow first halves. That's all on us. If we change that around, we easily get back 3 to 4 to 5 games back. And we'd be having different conversations. But just got to turn it around. It sucks to lose, but you got to get ready for a great team tomorrow night.
And it is a great team tonight. That's what we're dealing with. And, look, they have to maybe the back-to-back might be good for them. You have to flush it. And as much as a loss against the Nets is bad, a win against the Thunder would be a nice palate cleanser to hit the reset button and hopefully get you back on the right track. And you have an opportunity to do that tonight against the Thunder team who is probably thinking, all right, the Kings are a bit down right now. This is an opportunity for us to get them. And they see that there's no Malik Monk and you have Domantas Sabonis. He's back now, and DeMar DeRozan is back now, but it's been an issue. The Oklahoma City Thunder 12-4. They are, as the Kings are coming off a back-to-back. The Thunder last played on Wednesday.
Wait, really?
So
that's crazy.
Yeah, the Thunder last played on Wednesday. You can fact check that, Kyle, but I'm here checking it out on Google. But they beat the Blazers by 10 on Wednesday.
You're right. I'm surprised to hear that they did not play from Wednesday to Monday.
And they do their little West Coast trip this week as they go to Sacramento tonight. Then they go to Warriors on Wednesday. That'll be a battle for first place. And then they go to LA and Houston. And that's about it. So
the cup games have a lot of weird quirks in the schedule.
They really do.
It's messing with it a little bit too much because you have to align teams in similar groups in certain cities.
Yeah. As we look at what DeMar had to say and just a kind of frustration, you know what really scared me about what DeMar DeRozan had to say there is if you close your eyes and you didn't realize, if you change that voice to Harrison Barnes, I can almost guarantee you that's something very, very similar to what was said about a stretch of games last season.
Let's play that game with just the first part of this right here.
More so frustrated at ourselves, letting a couple games this season just slip away. Like y'all seen, slow first quarters, slow first halves. That's all on us.
That can literally be cut into last season and what happened last season. So I think that is what's worrisome. And it's so confusing because obviously DeMar DeRozan's points and what he's bringing to the table is better and more consistent than Harrison Barnes. Now they're just finding a way to lose in a different way. It's very confusing because they're the same types of losses, but in different ways.
Yeah, this is different. Because remember last week we were talking about 3-point struggles and how as long as you do something at an elite level, you're going to be fine on offense. And what the
Right.
Kings were doing great was elite mid-range scoring and getting to the rim. Keegan's been great inside the paint this year at scoring, but he hasn't been hitting the threes, right? And then that just all went out the window. Like it was
Yeah.
like they just couldn't do anything right on offense. They had their 3 lowest scoring quarters of the season back to back to back between the Hawks game and the Clippers game. Last night in the fourth quarter, 4 for 22 shooting from the field. It's 3-pointers, it's 2-pointers, it's not getting to the free throw line. And when they are getting to the free throw line, they're shooting 70%. It's like they went from being like, okay, we're still a very good offense, 8th in the league in offensive rating, to now we just look like a jag, just another team, or just another guy right there. It's been a precipitous drop off that was not the case last year. Like even when they were dropping these games last year, it was usually because other teams would go on heaters or random guys would score 30 points. It wasn't the offense just completely falls off the table.
Before these losses this weekend, the Kings were in top 10 in net rating. They have fallen out of the top 10. They are number 13 in net rating. And of course, net rating is a combination of offensive rating and defensive rating. So let's see where they are. Offensive rating, they have fallen out of the top 10. They are number 11 in offensive rating, and defensive rating, they are at 15. So
I believe they were at 13 early last week.
So look, still respectable, right? Their net rating is still better than their net rating is still better than their record.
What is the number on their net rating?
Their net rating is 1.7.
Okay, so they're still in the positives, right?
Yes.
So sometimes, essentially, net rating is like how many points are you outscoring every 100 possessions, essentially. And it's like, okay, they're still a net positive at this point, because sometimes it gets to be the case where there's like 11 teams that are really good and 20 teams that are just like, hovering around the negative.
But that's what's interesting, right? So they sit at 13th, okay? And if you look at some of the other teams and what they've been doing, the Lakers are 17th in net rating. They're 10-6. The Suns are 19th in net rating. They're 9-7. So some of these teams are finding ways to win, even though they're not playing great basketball. And I think that's kind of the issue as well. The Kings have to play, it feels like the Kings have to play perfect basketball. And even when they play close to perfect basketball, they might not win that game. So that's an issue with what they've been these last couple seasons.
Yeah, the Kings have been evolving, I feel like, because this year they've been excellent in the third quarter. Like their third quarters have been fantastic. Even I will give them this. We were working the game broadcast on Friday here, and I made the joke. It's like, do you think Fox is going to have more points in the third quarter than the entire team in either of those quarters? And he basically did. Like he came right out and just started hitting shot after shot after shot. They brought it. I mean, as terrible as the Clipper game was, they brought it within 7 at one point.
Yeah.
They came right out the gate out of halftime and just went on a run. Fox had 11 points right out the gate. So they've been an excellent third quarter team this year. It's just when we're so used to seeing them pull away from teams at the end of the fourth, it's disorienting to see the Hawks come back from down 5 in the final 5 minutes of the game and win. Brooklyn, who was down 4 with 9 minutes to go, pulls away, and the Kings never even have a chance to catch them.
Let's get to some more responses from the question I asked. Would you shake up the Kings starting lineup? If you vote yes, tell me what you do. So I read off what Wilson had to say. He said, sign Jay Crowder, cut McDermott if you have to. Doesn't matter how old. We need other playable wings who know their role and offer at least some sort of effort on defense. Keegan is playing too many minutes. Also, bench Herter for Keon if you want to start games more balanced. That is from Wilson. We discussed that, but essentially I'm with Wilson. I like Dougie McBuckets, but if you're not going to play him, and I don't know how bad the workout looked with Jay Crowder, but I'd like to see for myself at this point. This is where I'm at. From Philip Nugent, this might be too far. Trade Herter and Lyles for Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. If Keegan doesn't get back around 35% from 3, trade him too. Those two were supposed to open up the floor, and they aren't, and they don't do much else offensively. Keegan played hard tonight, but we need shooting from him. That's from Philip. Look, Herder and Lyles for Cam Johnson and Dorian Finney-Smith. I don't think there's many people that wouldn't do that.
You better throw in some draft picks.
I was going to say that's not enough, but I don't think there are a lot of people that would say, no, we can't do that. I think Cam Johnson looked good last night. Obviously, Cam Thomas looked amazing. Not sure. It's hard to say that's not what the Kings need when they haven't been able to shoot, but I do feel like Cam Thomas and Malik, if Cam Thomas he would be coming off the bench. I don't know if that's what Cam Thomas wants. Cam Johnson, I believe, would start, and you would slide DeMar DeRozan into the two position if they went in that direction.
Maybe let's just start with Cam Johnson and Shake Milton.
I would take that too. Because Shake Milton looked good last night. What he had last night? I mean, I'm sure they had 44 off the bench. Shake Milton, he had 10. 2 for 4 from 3. He was getting to the cup. He was a plus 10, 3 assists. I mean, give me Shake Milton as well. So you have that to look at. Also, this is from Joshy. This is from Joshy Betts. There's no reason Keon shouldn't be starting. The intensity we started with in games with him in the first 5 last year is day and night, from the constant lackluster starts to most games this year. What's the holdup? So that's what we're seeing a lot. All right. A lot of people want Keon and Kevin Herter headed to the bench. Do you agree with that? 916-339-1140 as we head to the 12 o'clock hour from Sacktown Sabonis. Honestly, if Monk is healthy, starting Monk in the 2 spot. That's the only starting rotation we haven't tried yet. And I would like to see what results it produces. We can't keep starting Herter. So let's bring that Monk conversation back up. I mean, you're not wrong. That's the one thing Mike Brown has said, I'm not doing it. But it's the one thing we can say, well, you haven't tried it yet. A lot of us have thought that it's been the right move to not do it, but you haven't tried it. So how can we so easily say that it wouldn't work? You're under 500. You lost some bad games 3 in a row. Now, Malik has got to get back. Maybe you start with Keon, but it's hard to say something can't work or something won't work or I refuse to do something when you're not winning games. 12 o'clock hour coming up next. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Finally here. Wendy's new salted caramel frosty. It's cold, salted, yet perfectly sweet, delicious, and it's at the top of Santa's Christmas list.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health, and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers, too. Consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Black Friday savings on now on the all-new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy.
With $8,000 off MSRP after rebates, every new 2025 half-ton LT, RST, LTZ, and High Country in stock at Maida Chevy.
Maida Chevy has one of the largest selections of new 2025 Silverados in the Sacramento area.
$8,000 off new 2025 Silverado at Maida Chevy. Now that's big, huge. MaidaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leases, and other offers. Ends 12/1/24. Source internet search 11/2/24.
Kings Black Friday deals are here. Cheer on the Sacramento Kings with slam dunk deals this holiday season. Save up to 25% on Kings tickets. Take 20% off Kings gear in the team store. You can even elevate your game day with 20% off experiences on the Kings home court at Golden One Center. Don't miss out on scoring these deals for all the Kings fans on your list. These incredible deals are only here for a limited time. Check out all the offers for tickets, gear, experiences, and more at kings.com/Black Friday.
Power Business Technology is proud to be a 100% independent, locally owned and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer since 2021. Contact us today for all your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Coach Doug Christie here for your truck headquarters, reminding you that every deal at Folsom Lake Ford is a slam dunk. Shop all your favorite models on sale now, including America's best-selling truck for over 47 years, Ford F-Series, plus a huge selection of Broncos, Bronco Sports, and all of Ford's award-winning SUVs at FolsomLakeFord.com. Listen, I know a great play when I see one, and if you want to save on a new Ford, you got to drive the lane straight to Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall. Right now, buy any new Ford with zero down on approval of credit. Save big with low interest financing, and Folsom Lake Ford always pays top dollar for your trade. So hurry to Folsom Lake Ford, a 6-time Triple Crown winner for sales and service excellence. That's why they're my trusted dealer, and they should be yours too. Tell them Coach Doug Christie sent you, or shop them online at FolsomLakeFord.com.
KHD HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
O'clock hour. 2 hours down, 2 to go. Capture the flag, says 916. Talking about Cooper Flag, a.k.a. the main event. That very, very highly ranked prospect that is at Duke right now. 916 says, capture the flag. I hope we lose out and tank completely. This is a garbage bleep team and franchise from the 916.
Capture the flag is an ideal name because I feel like no matter what team Cooper Flag ends up on, it feels like he's going to be captured and sent to the outlands of the NBA for 6 years.
Yeah,
Whether it's Utah, Toronto.
Unless he ends up on the Spurs.
Yeah, I guess that's true. The Spurs are good.
Yeah, unless he ends up on the Spurs or he ends up on a team that just things didn't go right for them.
The Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, could be the Sixers, could be someone like that. So, yeah, definitely a lot of things can happen, but I don't think that's where we're at 916. At least that's not where we should be at. Not yet. Can't be there yet, but I understand why some people might think, well, what are we doing? Right? If you're not good enough and it doesn't seem like they're good enough right now, what are we doing? I had this, and I know somebody is going to chime in at the worst time and try to blame me for bringing this team up. But this is what someone had to say. Basically, they're talking about the Kings and whether or not Mike Brown has lost the locker room. They go on to say, meanwhile, across the bay, I see a team rediscover themselves overnight. They're fun to watch. The offense is flowing. They listen to the coach, and I hate the Warriors. That is from the 916. As they discuss kind of the Mike Brown piece of this, we've played plenty of Mike Brown sound today, and we will continue to do so. I don't think the Kings have – I think Mike Brown is a player's coach. I think that's kind of his bag, and I don't think the locker room has been lost. I do find that there is a lot of onus put on the team, and this isn't a young team, so I get that. You add DeMar DeRozan. De'Aaron Fox has been in the league for 8 years. Domantas Sabonis has been around the block. So I do feel like there is a balance between, and I talked about this last season, when a lot of answers from Mike Brown turn into, well, that's on the guys and we give them a lot of freedom. When the games start going in the wrong direction, then it turns into, okay, well, how are you planning on helping the situation? Because clearly they need some form of help. Clearly they're not just sitting there and able to figure out things on their own. And I'm saying this in a nice way, but to go office space here, what exactly is it that you do here? And I am not saying that. I'm saying that when you hear Mike Brown say, well, we give the guys a lot of freedom and, we go out and we practice. This is what he said when he started off the presser. Look, we have sets that we get into at the beginning of the game. And we do walkthroughs. We get into the game, and then as soon as that happens, they do not execute the plays that we just had the walkthrough in our shoot around or whatever prior to the game. So you can look at that and say, well, these guys are getting paid millions of dollars. They got to execute. Or you can look at that and say, well, why aren't they executing? This is what happens when you drop 3 straight. Uncomfortable conversations have to be had. Then you hear from Mike Brown and he says, well, our intensity isn't there. Our physicality isn't there. And then you say, okay, well, how do you get there? And again, I'm not saying it's on Mike Brown, but I'm saying, okay, well, if it's on the team, then how does the team get there? Do they just wake up one day and become more physical? Who is it on? I don't actually know. What I do know is that it gets very dicey and sticky when it's a lot of we're giving them the tools, because this is what we heard a lot last season. We're giving them the tools, and they're not executing with the tools we're giving them. We are giving them the ingredients to make a meal, and they're not cooking the meal correctly. They're not following the recipe. They're not doing it. So that's what we dealt with a lot of that was last season. But at some point, the owner of the restaurant, if there's not butts in the seats, at some point the owner of the restaurant is going to say, I don't know if your recipe is very good, or I don't know if it's too complicated, or I don't know what the issue is, but you keep telling me that the ingredients in the recipe is there, but the chefs, the line cooks aren't cooking. So I have to look at you, head chef. I have no choice. And that's where this thing is going to go, not because there's anything against Mike Brown, but that's just the way of the world. So the way that these post-game pressers and the way things get approached, and it just turns into, well, we have to be better and we have to do this. So Mike Brown's saying that, the team is saying that, everybody's saying that. How do you get there? How do you stop talking about it and do it? Because you've been talking about it for over a season now. Being teamed, that's 2 years ago now. Lots happened. Lots happened.
What a great season
it was. It was.
The Warriors had like 4 of the same players that were on the team that knocked the Kings out of the playoffs at this point.
And now, I don't know and it's not even, I don't even know if the Warriors are going to continue to play at this clip, but you have teams that have last season you went in, you beat the brakes off the Warriors. You then I know that team's gone, but you lost to the Pelicans with no Zion for the 6th straight time. Then you say, oh, Harrison Barnes is the scapegoat. He wears a nice suit, but he's a dull Swiss Army knife. Bye, Harrison. Let's bring in DeMar DeRozan. And now you're 8-9. So that's going to be a problem for people.
It's also been a weird way to get to 8-9 too.
Against not great teams, soft teams. Yeah, again, and we're going to try to turn this thing. I guarantee, I promise you, end of the show, we are going to focus on if you beat the Thunder and you beat the Timberwolves, that's a great week, and we can just power through, eat some turkey, eat some ham, eat some stuffing, and start to ascend.
And then you've got the Blazers and the Spurs.
And they might worry me the most.
Now you're sounding like 2024 Kings again.
True.
Now you're sounding like last year's team again.
But you gotta win. You gotta win tonight. You have to. And I'm really close. I'm struggling, Kyle, and we'll get there. But I'm struggling between the make it a close game, whatever. And then I'm thinking, hold on now. We're talking about DeMar DeRozan, future Hall of Famer. And we're talking about De'Aaron Fox, who wants to be in the same conversations with SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and wants to be All-NBA, which I believe Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was last season. That you're coming for a guy who's younger than you, who is universally seen as better than you. And I'm going to sit here on these airwaves while the good people of Sacramento are getting through their workday and say I'm good with the moral victory. No, I can't do that. I refuse to do that. So it's not anyone else's fault that you tricked off a game to the Nets. We can give you the Hawks because you didn't have their guys. You should have won that game anyway, though. And you tricked off a game to the Clippers, which had one of the most embarrassing first halves in probably the Mike Brown era.
Yeah, the Nets game, they had a chance to win it at the end. The Hawks game, they had a chance to win it at the end, sure. But the Clippers game, they just got smoked out the building.
Yeah.
Smoked out the building.
It just was a bad look. So I can't sit there and watch what I just watched these last couple games and then say, all right, well, just give us a good try. That's not championship basketball. Because if I'm going to do that, then DeMar DeRozan was just here for Golden One to play a bunch of Kendrick and for the Sacramento Kings social team to post Kendrick memes. We're not here for championships. So I refuse to do that. You have to win tonight. And if you lose again to the Timberwolves, you're 0-3. Now you're headed to Pelican View. Okay, to Pelican Town.
Pelican Bay.
Pelican Bay. Thank you, Kyle.
That's the joke you were going for.
That's why you landed it. So to me, I don't care that you lost. This is where you figure out what you're made of. Find a way. They don't even have the Thunder don't even have Chet Holmgren. So they're not even 100%. So you have to find a way. You got to find a way. And if you don't, I'm going to be on these airwaves tomorrow. And something might get shaken up. I'm not saying this week, but I'm saying if you're going to make a move, you have to give everybody enough time.
So you're getting close to giving up on this core of the team, is what you're saying, this iteration.
I know that DeMar DeRozan isn't going anywhere. De'Aaron Fox isn't going anywhere. And I don't think Domantas Sabonis is going anywhere. That's all I know.
Well, Malik Monk can't go anywhere.
And Malik Monk. I was thinking starters.
Not till December 15th.
Malik's not going anywhere. So those 4. But the rest, you have a bad week. You let this thing get to 4 losses, 4 in a row, and the only one that's respectable is tonight. But unfortunately, that's the 4th one.
I don't know. The Clippers would have been a respectable loss if they had been like in the game, not down 26.
But they weren't, Kyle.
That's what I'm saying.
They weren't.
Tonight would be the only respectable loss. Remember when we were talking about the block of 5 games upcoming? They had
Remember when I said they were going to go
4-1?
They were going to go. What did I say? 8-2.
Yeah.
What are they since I said that? 0-3. I believe they are 0-3 since I said there's no reason the Kings can't go 8-2.
Last week when we had that long breakup and we were talking about 5-game chunks, it was Clippers, Nets, Thunder, Timberwolves, and Blazers. And it was like, look at this even split. You've got 1 great team, 2 kind of average teams, 2 below average teams, and now they're just trying to scrape together 3-2, maybe 2-3, but they're not favored to win tonight, and I would guess they would be favored on the road not favored on the road against Minnesota.
Yeah, I don't think they will be, but we'll get to that line on the Thunder as Shai Gilgeous and the crew come in to do battle with the Sacramento Kings. Let's continue the conversation talking about bench scoring and the offense disappearing. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
DC here for Folsom Lake Kia, where they make car shopping easy with a huge selection of new Kia models, low payments, and 0 down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, your trusted dealer in Folsom for over 25 years. FolsomLakeKia.com.
flagship station for the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports.
Here's the other thing about Allen Stiles with you. Sacktown Sports taking up to 2 p.m. Here's the other thing about where the Kings are right now. Oh, they were dealing with injury, and Sabonis was out. Malik's been out. DeMar DeRozan was out. So this is from Chris Haynes. Love Chris Haynes, trying to get him on the show. This is from Chris Haynes this week, all right? And this is just the reality of the situation. This week, the Pelicans are going to get DeJounte Murray back. That's on Wednesday. They've been ravaged by injuries. They've been in a worse situation than the Kings. They're going to get DeJounte Murray back, who they traded for this offseason. And the the Grizzlies going to face the Blazers tonight, and they will get Ja Morant back. That is happening as well. So we can say what we want about the injuries. These guys have dealt with it, and they're powering through. And guess what else? Tomorrow night, Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal will return against the Lakers for NBA Cup game in Phoenix. So this was your opportunity, while other teams are down, other teams are struggling, to give yourself a little bit of cushion. And I know the Kings dealt with injury too, but you had a decent schedule to try to get through it, and you did not take advantage. And now these teams are getting healthier. Now these teams are feeling like, okay, now it's our time to power through. Now it's our time to make up for what we missed out on. That's it. You know, some people talking in the Sack chat about shaking up the lineup. This is from NBA Young Cobb Stiles. It's tough for our head coach to admit that his players physically can't do what he's asking of them. Of course, he's going to say he's giving instructions. It's on everyone else to realize this roster. So is this on Mike Brown or is this on Monty McNair? Who is it more so on? Because that was how I felt last season as far as the roster is concerned. And, you know, people coming down Mike Brown's road, I just didn't think the roster was good enough. This season, I still don't think the roster is good enough to win a championship, but I will say that the games that they have lost, they have had better pieces. So that's where I'm at with that. I think you're right, NBA Young Cobb, as far as where the Kings want to go and a move needing to be made, sure, but that's no excuse for losing last night, in my opinion, and that's no excuse for losing the way they lost to the Clippers. That's where I'm at with all of that. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Derek. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Derek? You're on with Allen Stiles.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey.
Yeah, so I just wanted to throw something out that I've been talking about with my Kings fans a lot, which is I just want this organization to have the strength to know when it's time to make that shift, right? You look at Utah with Danny Ainge. You look at Oklahoma City. Like, I would love if this organization ran its shop like Oklahoma City, that looks ahead and goes, you know what? This ain't going to work. So let's break this down. Let's get a war chest of assets and let's retool. I mean, if you look at the history of the Oklahoma City franchise, they've been great, and then they rebuilt, and then they've been great. Mm-hmm. We've had too many years in this organization, 20-something years, where we didn't have the fortitude to do that. And I just hope and pray that we do if this does not work.
How long would you give it, Derek, as far as not working? Are you talking mid-season or let's get through the season and see what happens?
I honestly, at this point, the way that they've been playing, I think that you want to ship guys out now when they have their most value with their contracts. I'm ready to pull that plug. I'd keep Keegan Murray. I think unless you could get something really good back for him, I'd say everybody's on the table. If you can get a war chest of draft picks.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Derek. Great stuff. Enjoy the rest of your Monday. I think it's interesting. A lot of people, and maybe it's based on what De'Aaron's going to cost. I do think it's interesting simply because of Sacramento's history with having a legit star and the Tyrese Halliburton stuff. I don't think that Derek is, he's just speaking for himself. He's not speaking for all of Kings fans. But if you were going to move someone, I feel like De'Aaron would be somebody that I wouldn't want to move. No. I would be more willing to move some other names before I want to move De'Aaron, because I do think you have a star with De'Aaron.
No, yeah, De'Aaron getting moved would be by his own volition. I don't think the Kings as much, unless there was that player that came available, and by that player, I mean like a top 10 quality guy in the league, but that's A, not going to happen, and B, it would take more than De'Aaron Fox to make a move like that happen. I think the contract stuff is making people anxious about the Fox situation because he hasn't signed the extension, but until we get to September of 2025, I mean, there's no reason to think about moving De'Aaron Fox because the team kind of moves as Fox moves at this point. And
yeah,
if they're going to turn this around, it's going to be with Fox being like the most instrumental part of that.
And Derek used OKC as an example. Obviously, with OKC, you had Kevin Durant leaving in free agency, and shortly after that, James Harden left. So if I'm not mistaken, they were still competitive. They didn't fully tank or anything like that. They were still competitive. They did the Russell Westbrook thing. That's when he got the MVP. And then at some point, they essentially got Paul George to see if something could work, and then immediately flipped when they just realized that wasn't good enough either.
Yeah.
That's when they got their initial haul, which it feels like the Clippers are still paying for.
But they also swindled their way to getting Paul George, because if you remember, they traded Serge Ibaka, and they ended up getting like Oladipo and Sabonis, who they ended up flipping. So it's just like they pivoted quite well by making fools out of Orlando, but at the same time, it's just like that's not a tried and true strategy. Moving off of stars usually looks like what Utah's going through right now.
It's tough. How much do you trust your GM? How much do you trust the guys in charge in the suits and or vests to get it done? Because look at the Blazers, right? It was a good run. CJ McCollum, Dame Lillard. They couldn't get there. You get Scoot. Now you have a bunch of young guys. You get Scoot Henderson. You have a couple pieces. You're not really sure. I don't know when the Blazers are going to be good.
I don't know. The weird thing with them is that they have the young guys, but they also have the guys in their prime.
Yeah, they have too many guys also.
Yeah, they got rid of Brogdon, which I'll give them that, but it's like they have still Jeremy Grant, still Matisse Thybulle, still DeAndre Ayton getting significant run over Donovan Klingon. So they're not even investing in the young guys. Yeah, sometimes you get lost in the wilderness, right? When you don't, I mean, Kings fans know this. I don't have to explain that, but you get lost in the wilderness when you pivot off of your star, especially for a team like Portland that when they had Damian Lillard, they didn't give him an all-star teammate. Now imagine trying to find an all-star teammate with nothing to build around.
I think this thing would have to get pretty darn ugly, and I think pretty darn ugly starts with maybe a bad loss tonight. So I don't think it's going to take a ton of time, but if they squeak out a win tonight and, it's a good game against the T-Wolves, maybe they win that game, you're just keeping everything at bay. But at the same time, I do believe that going into next season, if they miss the playoffs or something like that, I think anything is on the table. It's just a matter of, to Derek's point, which direction they want to go. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Edward. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Edward?
Yeah, I want to go in a little different direction here and reflect on the role of Vivek in the construction of this roster. Am I correct? Are the Kings at the point where if they signed anyone else, they'd be paying a luxury tax?
They are. I know they're very close, and that's why they had to go the Dougie McBuckets route. I know they're very close.
Right. So that's why we don't have a deep team. We're paying too many guys big money. Kevin Huerter is not worth $18 million a year, but you probably can't find anyone who will take him. DeMar DeRozan, back problems in the first year, a 3-year deal at age, 35?
Yeah.
Jesus, that doesn't portend well. I'm afraid that De'Aaron Fox has made up his mind he's not staying here. And he's just saying, well, I don't want to sign the extension because I think I can make more if I make an all-pro team. He's not going to make an all-pro team. He made it once, but from now on, it's going to be Brunson and Gilgeous Alexander in the top two, and Halliburton or John Moran or somebody else is going to beat out De'Aaron. So that's a bluff on his part. I think he's going to go to the Lakers.
Wow.
And, well, the Lakers are a clutch team. LeBron would be ready to leave when De'Aaron's contract was up, and he would take that money slot. I just think he's looked around and he said, this isn't really the place for me. And so I would trade him, and I actually think they are planning on trading him. And if you want to know with who, I think they're going to trade him to the Wizards. And I think it's going to be before the All-Star break. If he doesn't sign the extension, they're going to have to play hardball. Sign the extension, or we got to trade you.
Oh, I think you cut out, Edward. Thanks for the call. I did not expect that. Did not expect that. The Wizards, what? Don't tell me pool party's coming.
No, it'd be Kuzma.
You know, that's the only way to combat the Warriors and Buddy Hield doing their thing. We'll take your leftovers.
Pool party and
pool party in Sacramento.
Pool boy and jacuzzi.
Coming to Sacramento.
Yeah, okay, so here's the clarification on the contract thing. If Fox signs a contract this last offseason, one, it could only be for 4 years.
Yes.
He's still under contract for 2 years. So he can sign a 5-year contract at the end of this year. And 2, there's the second part about the All-NBA team where he would make $100 million.
And he would only be able to make that. He would only be able to make that on the Kings.
Yes. Well, by signing a contract with the Kings.
Yes.
I mean, they could trade him to another team like what happened with Carl going to the Knicks. But
right.
Once he signs the contract, yes, he can only sign it with the Kings. Mm-hmm. But even if he doesn't make All-NBA, he's still due to make, I think it's like $40 million more just by waiting a year to sign the 5th year on top of that extension. Because I think the 5th year on that contract would be $57 million. I don't know the exact number, but it's like you're getting an extra year that guarantees you $57 million on that 5th year of the extension. So that him not signing the extension this offseason doesn't have to do with the Kings themselves, but the point that I believe was reported by, it was either Sam Amick or Chris Haynes, that he's kind of waiting to see what the Kings do before committing long-term to the contract. That part is true, but I don't think 17 games into the season, the needle has moved in either direction, unless everyone is super unhappy, which there's no indication that's the case.
I think we're going to find out a lot about the Kings tonight. But I do know this. De'Aaron was the one saying, get your bag to Malik Monk. If he gets $345 million, if he gets that offer to him, he will be signing that with the Sacramento Kings. Now, to the point of would the Kings move De'Aaron before that, that's a different conversation if this thing goes left. If it's pool boy and jacuzzi, it's going to be that, and it's probably going to be more, but I don't know why the Wizards would do that either, because I don't think that helps the Wizards timeline.
That is simply not going to happen.
Yeah. Ken and Kevin, we see you. We get to you in just a little bit here. Got to get to the break on the other side. We will get to your calls, get to your texts, and we continue the conversation for your Sacramento Kings. Great stuff so far. Let's keep it going. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer? Can we sleep cooler? Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. And now, during our Black Friday sale, save 50% on the Sleep Number limited edition smart bed. Plus free home delivery when you add a base. And Cyber Monday. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Lowe's knows you want to get even more value for the holiday. That's why as a MyLowe's Rewards member, you get new member deals on holiday decor, tools, and more. And you earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards to help you save on holiday and more. Not a member? Join for free today at Lowe's.com/MyLowe'sRewards, because Lowe's knows deals. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowe's.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, the Scratch Kitchen delivers lunch in the clutch.
I mean, where else can you order a 29-degree draft beer and a quickie combo on your lunch break? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Kyle Draper. Equip your staff with top-notch uniforms, professionally cleaned and delivered weekly to your workplace by Alsco Uniforms, proud sponsors of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. Our services include uniforms, towels, floor mats, mops, first aid supplies, and restroom essentials to uphold cleanliness and safety standards in your business. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Visit alsco.com to learn more. Again, visit alsco.com.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named the top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue, Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
You know, when it's all on the line, you need a big-time closer, and that's especially true when it comes to your garage door. And that's why I recommend National Garage Door, 638-4554. Whitey Gleason here for National Garage Door. Whether you're looking to repair an existing door or get a brand new one installed, you need National Garage Door. Family-owned and operated. They've been around since 1974 because service is their #1 priority. National Garage Door are the region's BSE. It's broken spring experts. Styles, prices, and quality of the new doors will amaze you. Our garage door was starting to sound kind of, and that's not good. So Kevin from National Garage Door came out. He said patching up the old one was an option, but we're getting a new garage door. We're pretty happy about that. National Garage Door sells quality Rainer branded garage doors. They offer sales, service, and installation on all residential and commercial doors and operators. If you have garage door needs, old ones coming apart, or you're looking to improve your curb appeal, let National Garage Door come through for you in the clutch and be your closer. 638-4554, National Garage Door.
Mita Chevy sends you $8,000 off MSRP on every new 2025 half-ton Silverado LT, RST, LTZ, and High Country in stock after rebates. All of them.
Black Friday savings now at MetaChevy.com. Together, let's drive.
See dealer for details. Ends 12/1/24.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. as we really break down the Kings. And we haven't had time for the Niners. And look,
apparently the Niners didn't have time for the Niners either.
I just want to say to Debo, if he's listening, probably recording his own podcast, but I just want to say that the lock-in thing, I mean, he just kind of asked for it with what he said. And look, he's been a leader of this team for a long time, but what he didn't do, and the interception, that wasn't a perfect pass, no, but Debo has just not really, and it's not just on him. I'm just saying, you're going to be out here picking on the kickers, and I get it, not picking on, trying to make the team better.
Sorry, trying to choke.
Yeah, well, that's a long snapper, yes, but you can't be throwing stones from a glass house. So we'll get to the Niners a little bit in the 1 o'clock hour, but the Kings, man, they're taking over right now. This is a purple town, and we're going to give the people what they want. And the calls continue to come in and the text. So we're going to continue to break it down. And texters are agreeing with a lot of the callers. There have been some takes about moving on from De'Aaron. Has Mike Brown lost the team? We're 17 games in, but you want to find a way to get to these conversations 17 games in? Go on a 3-game losing streak against the Hawks, the Clippers, a very shorthanded Clippers team, and a shorthanded Nets team. And that game was at home. So, and the Hawks was at home too, actually. So that'll do it. That'll do it. And I'm not really surprised that we're here. Y'all know me. It doesn't take a lot for me. I'm already thinking, okay, you're 17 games in. That's basically 30. I round up. And I know it's not that much.
That's a big difference.
I'm being a bit tongue-in-cheek like T.O. talking about Debo's outfits, all right? Debo couldn't even come out and shut up T.O. after he had that to say. But he wanted to Twitter finger T.O. So
by 30 games, it's going to be Christmas, dude.
Well, but 30 games, the season's halfway done. That's how I see it.
I don't know how that math is mathing.
Well, two pointers and 3-pointers. The Kings don't know how math be mathing either. 916-339-1140. Casey, we see you, but Ken has been waiting, wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Ken? What you got for us? Ken? Ken, I don't know what's happening there. I don't know if we're in your pocket or what, but call back, Ken.
Sounded like he fell in the ocean.
I was going to say, Ken, are you okay?
Is it raining outside right now?
Or his phone was in his jeans in the washing machine. That's what it sounded like.
It must be raining outside. I don't know what happened.
Ken, we hope you're okay. Call back in case he dropped 2. All right.
Anyway, so we're looking at 17 games into the season. The Kings are 8-9 at this point. Some people are at their wits' end at this point, but
yes.
Tonight's game is going to be interesting to watch because, like I said off the top, these losses have been so unique. Like each of the 3 losses has been unique. And I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse about the Kings' 3-game losing streak, but it's like the Clippers game, the offense just betrayed them. This last game, it was Brooklyn hitting a record high 3-pointers. It was then in the fourth quarter, the Kings' offense disappearing and Brooklyn slowly bringing their way back. It's like one game it was the offense, one game it was defense, then it was fourth quarter offense, and the Hawks game, they had it right down at the end, and then you had the foul that wasn't a foul and all that stuff. So it's like, I don't know if that makes you feel better or worse, but they've lost now 3 games in 3 unique ways to teams with a combined record of 21-26.
Here's the problem. The problem is, like we said, everybody is dealing with injuries, okay? And you look at a team like the Clippers, no Kawhi, they haven't had Norm Powell. They go out, they beat the Kings. The Warriors, they lose DeAnthony Melton. They're still finding ways to win games. All these teams, I know the Pelicans, they've been struggling, but all these teams that have been missing big pieces, they have found ways to tread water. And the Kings, yes, they miss a couple games with their big 3 or a version of their big 3, but they've also been losing games with their big 3 and being fully loaded. So let me ask you this. And again, this is not to try to point fingers at anyone, but all I'm saying is, like I said, go look if you can find it. And I believe it was either Sean Cunningham or Matt George, a local guy, posted a video of Mr. Vivek courtside. Go find that video during one of these breaks and tell me that, Allen, it's too early. So my question is this. Are the Kings playing as well as they could be, or are they underproducing or underachieving? Because if you're 8-9 with the guys that they brought in and DeMar DeRozan, and you look at who they played, there are a couple reasons fingers start to get pointed at a coach. The main reason, you're underachieving. Does it feel like 17 games in, the Kings have underachieved? That's my question.
So the way I would tackle that, and this is why I say it's too early to do anything, like I think we're going to have to wait till February to really start having those conversations, is before
excuse me, February,
I wouldn't consider. I mean, unless we start hearing some credible reporting, I'm not talking about firing a coach.
Oh no. Well, I'm saying something will be changed before February if they stay like this.
Maybe the only thing that I think would change is roster construction.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we can put that aside. Here's my thinking on this. The point I'm going to make is before the injuries, it was going really well. Right? Maybe it wasn't perfect, but it was going well.
I wouldn't say really well. I would say it had an upwards trajectory. That's what I would say.
Okay. So when Malik Monk gets hurt, that was the Phoenix game, I believe, up to that point. So up to that, the Kings were, let's see, they ended up pulling it out in overtime. They were 5-4 at that point.
Mm-hmm.
We're 5-4. DeRozan had fit seamlessly into the offense. Everyone was feeling good about the start of the season. We knew there was a bench depth issue.
Yes.
Mike's rotations were essentially the same 8 as last year, but just add DeRozan in for Harrison Barnes.
Crazy minutes being played.
But we had the come from behind win in Miami. We had the come from behind win with Phoenix. I think people were feeling good about where things stood at that point. I think you can attribute a lot of the struggles to injuries because they got ran out the building by the Spurs the next game, right? That was without Monk, ran out the building, tough loss, and then it just kind of all fell apart because you had the back issues with DeRozan and everything else. So I feel like I'm willing to suspend feeling like there needs to be a big shakeup just because it was working well and you saw the optimism through the first 9 games of the season. And since then, it's just kind of all been wonky and mixed match of rotations and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people are going to agree with you. And I just say that because, the injury, again, a lot of teams have been dealing with injury and there were issues prior to the injury. So that's where I'm at with that. Again, I'm not saying anything needs to happen right now at 12:41. On November 25th. I'm not saying anything has to happen right now. All I'm saying is that this turns into a very important week because you have two teams in the Thunder and the Timberwolves who they're going to be licking their chops. So you mess around and you lose 5 straight. What do they say? You can't continue insanity to do the same thing over and over again. And I don't think anybody wants to be a part of that. So yeah. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not even saying there's not a part of it because you do need Malik Monk and you do need these guys to be healthy. All I'm saying is you had both these guys the last 2 games. You cannot lose to that Clippers team and not have some people looking sideways at you, and you can't lose last night and have people looking sideways at you. It has to start tonight or the snowball is just going to get bigger.
Well, you also can't score 29 points against the Clippers in the first half.
And you can't score 15. You have the clutch player of the year from the first season, and you have second place clutch player of the year from last season, and you score 15 points.
Especially when in
the fourth.
Especially when Fox is averaging 39 over the last 5 games, and it's 1-4, and no one else is really getting any points. It's like they're really being let down on the offensive side of the ball. I want to wait for larger sample size to attribute it to injuries because after the Malik injury is when it felt like things really started taking a turn for the Kings. If you count the game Malik got hurt, they were 6-4.
Sure, and that might be roster construction. But something's got to give here. We have some sound from Mike Brown about the De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox with DeMar DeRozan and Sabonis, and De'Aaron Fox without, and that balance. We will play that. We see you. Ken is back from his quick swim, and CJ, we see you as well. We'll get to you on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sacktown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, We own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
DC here, and if you've been thinking about a new car, you gotta see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia. You can always count on low payments and zero down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
Phone line's on fire. Is it a fire sale that's about to happen? I don't think so. That's what is probably going to happen with the Nets, but it didn't look like it last night. Last night looked like the Nets might be competing, and I think a caller said the Nets might be competing for a play-in spot or a playoff spot. The Nets are 7-10. They're 3-7 on the road. Want to guess where one of those 3 wins are? Yeah, it's last night. Golden One Center. So it's not as if the Nets are playing better than a lot of teams thought, but they haven't been playing well. They played well last night. Again, 44 bench points.
I know there's not a lot of sellers in the league right now, but like the Nets don't have that many players to sell, right? Like it
depends.
It's Cam Johnson, maybe it's Claxton, it's
Cam Thomas,
Dorian Finney-Smith,
right?
Maybe Ben Simmons.
You have to put out a product to get butts in the seats, so you can't sell. They probably want to move on from 2, see what they get for the 2, and then go from there. Some combination of that too, because you don't want to do what some of these other teams have done, and you hold on to a guy. Like I think that the Wizards held on to Kuzma for too long. I don't think they're going to get the same thing. I think the Blazers probably held on to Jeremy Grant for a little too long. So you don't want to do that, and you really have no need to do that because I think most Nets fans would even say, move on from them. Let's do the OKC thing and power through.
I think they should hang on to Cam Thomas, though, right? Like that's got to be part of that rebuilding process.
Yeah, if they want, if it's a Cam Thomas show, it's going to be the show. He was putting them up last night. 916-339-1140. Phone lines completely full. We're going to start with Seymour. I see you, Ken, CJ, and Casey. Seymour's been waiting. What's up, Seymour? You're on with Allen Stiles. What you got?
Hey, man. How you guys doing today?
Good. How you doing?
Doing all right. I got a question. I'm wondering what happened to our identity. We used to be a really fast break team. I'm pretty sure we're like dead last right now. We like to play half court basketball like we're in the playoffs or something. That's my biggest gripe right now.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Seymour. And we actually, I will answer that, but want to get this De'Aaron sound. He was asked about what's happening kind of towards the end of games and the pace of play, and this is what he had to say.
Continue to try to play with pace. I think a lot of times we're slowing it down probably a little bit too much. But whenever we're able to get stops or even on makes, we have to be able to try to get out and, not necessarily have to score in the first, 5-6 seconds, but being able to get down the court, getting into your action and trying to create an advantage somewhere. I think whenever our offense has been good, I think that's how we've, pretty much gotten it. So we just have to be better in that aspect, not, 5 minutes left. Obviously you want to, slow the game down a little bit. But when our best offense is, early offense, we have to continue to try to do that. Yeah, we've heard.
So it's not that there's no conversation about slowing down. They've just been playing slower. And again, I know, I love the addition. I do. But there is one thing we can probably point to, which is part of that that's slowing down, and that's the addition of DeMar DeRozan. That's who he is. His offense, he wants to get into it. That is not an indictment on DeMar DeRozan. I had a Chicago Bulls fan slide into my comments yesterday as I posted after the game, and they said, look at what the Bulls have done this season and the distribution of points and the way their offense flows. It's just different. So if you bring in somebody like DeMar DeRozan, things are going to look different. And right now, the Kings are trying to figure out that balance. And unfortunately, we thought that they would be able to find out this balance and beat teams like the Nets, who even the Nets were shorthanded on the road completely way across the country. They were unable to do that. We thought they'd be able to beat a Clippers team with Norman Powell during this transition with no Kawhi Leonard off 3 days rest. Haven't been able to do that yet. So that's a problem. 916-339-1140. Ken, we got you back. What's going on?
Hello, what do you do, gentlemen? How you doing this afternoon?
Good, man.
Hey, man, I want to touch on what my man just said, the slowing the ball down. It's just giving opportunity for the Kings to think.
Mm-hmm.
When we were playing fast ball, man, we weren't thinking. We were just balling.
Right.
I'm saying now we can slow the ball down. Now we're thinking about shots. You know what I'm saying? We're just not making the easy play. But I wanted to touch on, it's really not a question. I was wondering, I want to get your guys' thought. What do you think about how Fox feels, how Sabonis feels, how DeRozan feels? They're playing consistent every night, consistent ball, especially Fox. He's playing consistent ball every night. But he has to look down at the bench and be like, hey, man, come on, fellas.
Yeah.
Hey, man, just about the guy was talking about trade, talking about leaving Sacramento. This is something he may look at. Man, I don't got a bench.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm balling out every night. You know what I'm saying? Sabonis balling out every night, but we're not getting them any production from where it's important. And the bench is very important in NBA basketball.
Yeah.
We got back-to-backs. You know what I'm saying? We got long minutes from our stars. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about how De'Aaron and these stars are feeling, how the bench is not performing like we expected them to. I don't know what's your feeling on how Fox would feel at this point as far as maybe leaving Sacramento, because we don't have the pieces in play to maybe make him a better player or even make the team better. I'm dropping the mic on that, fellas.
Thanks for the call, Ken. Look, I'll say this. I don't know if he looks at the bench and says, man, y'all got to be better, because I think he's got to be realistic. I think De'Aaron's a pretty realistic person.
Yeah, I guess. I hear what you're saying. It's just we don't need to beat the dead horse on the bench again over and over. They scored 17 points in the last 2 games, but also Keon gave you 33 off the bench against the Hawks.
That's true.
It's not an all or nothing thing with the bench.
Yes, but Keon gave you that essentially in place of starters, right? Because you didn't have your big boys. Look, at the end of the day, I think that De'Aaron really the question is De'Aaron looking at the bench, or is De'Aaron looking up top, or whatever suite that Monty McNair is in? That's ultimately the question that we're trying to figure out, because I don't know I don't know if De'Aaron has crazy expectations for the bench, and when it gets to who De'Aaron has been and he starts to look around the league or whatever the case may be, ultimately that starting 5, DeMar DeRozan, and De'Aaron was a part of bringing in DeMar DeRozan. The one thing about it is, just because De'Aaron was a part of it doesn't mean that they might not have gotten into the gym and thought, oh, okay, this isn't actually working. I mean, these guys, they know way more basketball. They'll forget more basketball than most of us will know. But I mean, KD wanted to play with Kyrie and James Harden. That didn't work out. I mean, there's situations where guys think things are going to work and they don't work.
I think to answer Ken's question, because it is a good one, I can't get in the head of De'Aaron Fox, and I'm not going to pretend to. I just think of it from my perspective, having the bench struggles or feeling like you don't have a deep enough team. It's not the deal breaker, but it's just like one more check you add to the box, right? Like if you're putting together the pros and I don't want to say pros and cons. If you're putting together like where things stand for you and what you value, ultimately you're going to have to make a decision, sign or don't sign. And little trust breaking incidents like a coach yelling at someone or not taking accountability or not having a bench situation, like little things like that kind of chip away at that trust or chip away that faith that things are going to work out. So having the bench struggles doesn't feel like it's a deal breaker, especially because Fox hasn't voiced any frustration of those sorts in any kind of press conference setting. It's a win or lose, but it's just like one of those things that just kind of you check the box against the Kings when you're trying to figure out what you want to do next offseason. And like I said, with the Fox contract of it all, I wouldn't start being worried until at least training camp of next year. Like if nothing's come out on the horizon by training camp of next year, that's the first time you think it might be working against them.
CJ and Casey, we see you. We will get to you on the other side. And don't worry, it will be quick. We also have some more sound from Mike Brown on the really just the fourth quarter pace of play, some of the things that we've been discussing. And De'Aaron Fox, I mean, to kind of close the loop on what was asked earlier. Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably going to look around the league. And here's a funny thing for me. When it comes to the money situation and the Kings don't have any money, the Kings remind me of when you get paid and you don't feel like you spent that much money, but then you check your account and you realize, where did my money go? Because other people, not the pocket watch, but other people that you think you're doing as good as, or whatever the case is, they got a Benz, they got the 5-bedroom house with the pool, they got all this, and you got the same job dang near. That's what it looks like with the Kings, because you're looking around thinking, okay, so how come the Kings have no bench? Everybody is working within the same rules, but the Celtics look like that, and this team looks like this, and that team looks like that. But the Kings we're sitting here arguing Jay Crowder over Doug McDermott. How does that happen?
I don't know, Stiles. Sounds like you might be pocket watching.
I am a little bit, but how does that happen? So that is how it feels watching the Kings. Where is the money? Where is the money compared to these other teams? De'Aaron ain't got paid yet. So where is this money going?
Sabonis took a pay cut.
We see the calls coming in. Like I said, CJ, Casey, we'll see you on the other side. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Fox rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com. Welcome to TGL, presented by SoFi. Golf's newest league, live on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's 2 hours of hammer dropping, overtime forcing, layoffs on the line. Golf, Tiger, Rory, and more of the best from the PGA Tour split into 6 teams. Learn more at TGLGolf.com and tune into the inaugural season beginning January 7th. Keep up, it's golf.
Whether you're ordering wings for the game, whipping up a 7-layer dip, or ordering pizza, there's something about football that makes you want to eat. And this football season, Uber Eats has the best deals on game day food. No matter what you're craving, from 2-for-1 pizza to buy one, get one wings, Uber Eats will be dropping new deals each week, all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline, Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda. One-stop Honda shop.
Black Friday is on its way at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet, and there's no better place to shop for all your power tools. Low price Makita Bear tools starting at $89, Makita batteries starting at just $49, and many more of the year's hottest deals. November 25th through December 2nd. That's right, one whole week of crazy deals on power tools. So don't forget, our Black Friday sale will be November 25th through December 2nd. Check us out at 6701 Power Inn Road or online at fastenersinc.net.
Kings Black Friday deals are here. Cheer on the Sacramento Kings with slam dunk deals this holiday season. Save up to 25% on Kings tickets. Take 20% off Kings gear in the team store. You can even elevate your game day with 20% off experiences on the Kings home court at Golden One Center. Don't miss out on scoring these deals for all the Kings fans on your list. These incredible deals are only here for a limited time. Check out all the offers for tickets, gear, experiences, and more at kings.com/Black Friday.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Jeep Adventure Days now that Black Friday's here?
Get your hands on one of America's favorite SUVs with savings up to $17,000 off MSRP or 0% financing for 72 months on all remaining new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs. You pick.
Wow, and those new Grand Cherokees are really nice.
Yeah, they are. But remember, the savings isn't just on new Jeeps. We have over 200 quality used cars available and over 40 under $20,000.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$17,000 total net savings on select new 2024 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE after $4,750 dealer discount and $12,250 factory and federal rebates. Rebates include $500 first responder bonus cash for eligible first responders and $3,750 federal EV tax credit, subject to change. 0% APR for 72 months. Option is available as a standalone offer and cannot be combined with other incentives. Must have 700 plus FICO score to qualify through SFS. $13.89 per thousand borrow. 5 of this net savings. See dealer for details. Sample VIN 684-904.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
One o'clock hour, and we are going to forego top stories at the top of the hour. One, because the calls have been outstanding, and two, because we have a bit of breaking news.
Breaking news.
Let's get to it right now.
You want me to hit the button?
Hit the button.
Let's hit the button.
When it breaks,
we have it first.
It's Sacktown Sports Breaking News.
This is from Chris Haynes 5 minutes ago. Sources: Sacramento Kings guard Malik Monk will go through pregame warm-ups with the intention of making his return tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder after missing the past 7 games. I mean, that is a lot. 7 games is a lot.
Yeah.
So, that they've only played 17, so 10 of them have been without.
According to your math, that's like 20% of the season.
That's right. So if you're just now joining us, we've been hammering the Kings all day long, but they are going to get some help. Sources: Sacramento Kings guard Malik Monk will go through pregame warmups with the intention of making his return tonight against Oklahoma City Thunder after missing the past 7 games. That's from Chris Haynes. Now, he does say with the intention of, so there might be a possibility that is not the case. But, that is great news. If you are a Kings fan, that is great news for the Kings. And again, you sit there and look, he missed 7 games. It's not like it wasn't a small amount of time, but there's time. No, got to figure this stuff out. And I'm sure Malik is as close to ready to go as he can be, but you got to figure this stuff out. You have to put yourself in a position to win games you're supposed to win. And when you lose games you're supposed to win, now you got to win games that maybe you're not supposed to win. We're about to get into our Thunder Kings preview, and this changes things a little bit. So Malik Monk is warming up tonight, going through pregame warm-up with the intention of making his return tonight. Chances are, I believe, he will play. Just knowing Malik and the conversations that we've had with Malik, it's going to be hard to keep him off the court. I do know that. So Malik Monk will be back. Could this be the spark that the Kings need? Their bench scored 9 points last night, so I don't think it can be any worse than that. 9 points last night from the bench, and it was all Keon Ellis, to be completely honest with you. All right, let's get back to the phone lines. We will continue to break down what's going on with Malik Monk. Obviously, we won't know if he's for sure playing until tonight, but Malik Monk intends to make his return tonight. CJ, Casey, Kevin, we see you. We'll get you in that order. CJ, you're on down south. What you got for us?
What's going on, guys? How y'all doing this morning?
We're good,
this
man.
Afternoon, I should say.
Yeah, same to you. Same to you.
Good. Yeah, man. I got a couple questions, and some of them might be out of the ordinary. But my first one would have to be just the offensive woes. We don't just go cold; we freeze. Like we become an ice block.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just one or two players; it's the entire team. So then my question becomes: when we go back in the preseason, there was that bit. I think it was Malik when he was just like, "Man, we're just tired. We're just tired." And then the question came about was, are the practices too much? Is Mike Brown trying to ask the team to do too much? Are they getting enough rest, or are they working so hard that they just don't have any legs?
Mm-hmm.
And you look at the issues that they're having, and then you're looking at the guys who are going down injured, like Domas and DeMar, both going down with lower back issues. Those are I've had lower back issues, and it typically came when I was working my tail off.
Yeah.
So that would be my first question would be, and it's an out of the ordinary question because we're talking about professional athletes, right? But are they being overworked? Are they being asked to do too much? Like some might say that we think that we're asking Keegan to do too much, but is that what the effect is of going cold on offense, having defensive woes, and then these injury issues? And then my next question to you would be are we really better with De'Aaron Fox being the number one option? I'm not an anti-De'Aaron guy. I'm not an anti-Fox guy, but I mean, I know you said it a couple of times, Allen, where, if he goes to another team, he's not going to be the number one option most times. He's going to be the number two or the number three.
Mm-hmm.
And, we look at our last, I think it's 6 games where he's averaged over 28 and he's just killed it. But is that really translating over to Kings W's? And even, earlier than that, before we lost DeMar and DeMontis, are we a better offense when he's the number one, or are we a better offense when maybe we're having that seamless fit that people were saying when we had in the first 9 games before the injuries went down, when I was observing that maybe DeMar was actually increasing his usage, increasing the pace of his game and letting that drive the Kings. So those are my thoughts today, fellas. Do you think that we're trying to do too much? And is Fox the best fit for the Kings when he's the number one option or when he's co-starring? So that would be where I would come from. I'd love to hear y'all's take on that.
Thanks for the call, CJ. Really good thoughts there. The first one, I have a simple answer for you. The answer is yes. I mean, they're logging over. They were that first 10 games, the Kings, the four of their starters were playing the most minutes in the league. They were the top 5. 4 of their guys were in the top 5 for most minutes played. So that's an easy answer for you because they were just playing too many minutes, and they're playing too many minutes because the bench isn't good enough, right? Or in part, the bench just hasn't been good enough. So that's an easy one. I do think it's it's definitely connected. DeMar DeRozan is 35, 36 years old. You got my neck and my back. I mean, you got him playing 35, 36 minutes. That's not going to work. I know he's been an Iron Man, but that's you shouldn't be having to do that. De'Aaron Fox is playing through the finger issue, and Domantas Sabonis, which might be the most concerning of all because he's been that Iron Man and he's right there in his prime, for him to have some issues when you haven't had that. And then you get Malik to a lesser degree as well. So yeah, the quick answer there on that one is yes. I do think they were being asked to do too much because Mike Brown didn't trust anybody. Then you have the injuries and you think, okay, he's going to learn to trust other players. And Orlando Robinson hasn't played. Jordan McLaughlin didn't play last night. So Dougie McBuckets hasn't played either. So you got Colby Jones who found a way to sneak in there. But it's not as if these injuries gave Mike Brown. It doesn't seem like they gave Mike Brown any more. And it's a vicious cycle to where, we're not getting enough. We're not winning. So I can't put in the bench to see if we can hold on to the bench to hold on to the lead. So we're going to leave in the starters. So that's been a problem. The second part of it that you had to say about De'Aaron Fox. So we over the last 5 games, De'Aaron Fox averaging 39.4 points a game, and the Kings are 1-4. That's not De'Aaron's fault, and I don't think that proves that De'Aaron can't be a number one or isn't a number one. I think De'Aaron is scoring a lot of times when guys put up those crazy points, right? 70 points, 60 points. They don't win those games because that just means nobody else was doing diddly squat, So I don't think it makes De'Aaron look bad at all. I think it's just finding that balance that they haven't been able to find right now, where it's De'Aaron getting his and the other team and the rest of the team getting theirs as well. 916-339-1140. Kevin, we see you, but Casey has been waiting. Kevin, we'll get to you next. What's up, Casey? What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Stiles? How you doing?
Good, man. Good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good. So I wasn't calling about this point specifically, but to piggyback off the last guy, the Kings being worn out. What happens when you get worn out? The first thing that goes is your legs.
Yeah.
And the thing you need most in shooting is your legs. We got if I told you that Trey Lyles, how bad has Trey Lyles been shooting the three? And just right off the bat, what comes to your head?
They're not good at all.
Okay, he's shooting better from three than Herter, Murray, and Monk on the season. His percentage is 33%. All three of those other guys are under 30%. And to me, Trey Lyles, I watch him and I'm like, this guy's unplayable.
Yeah.
But yet we have Herter, Monk, and Keegan all shooting under 30%. They're playing way too many minutes. And I called last week and I suggested putting DeRozan on the bench and staggering these guys' minutes. It's kind of like almost like a hockey line, right? You don't play all your best players together on the same line in hockey. You stagger your players and you don't have your bums out there at the same time for a whole 6 minutes and you get down. We've got a problem with we have three great players on this team, and right now everybody else is playing like a bum. Like a bum. Herter's playing like a bum. Monk's averaging 12 points on 28% shooting from three. I know it was only like 9 or 10 games, but still, something's going on, and Mike Brown just doesn't seem willing to make adjustments. I don't understand what it is, and I think on top of Mike Brown, we got to look at Monty at this point. Like, you knew last year we had probably the worst bench in the league last year, other than Monk, and you did almost nothing. No significant signings to our bench. Bringing in Doug McDermott and Orlando Robinson and, trading for McDaniels and then cutting them before the season even starts. Like, what has Monty done for our bench? It's terrible.
Yeah. Thanks for the call, Casey. We got Kevin as well. Yeah, I would say this, and the main thing with Monty McNair, and we can start there, is, again, that's why I went back to the pocket watching a little bit, but at the same time, look, the starting five is better. The problem is you have to be able to improve both sides of it, and the Kings haven't been able to do that. The bench is just not good enough, and I do think some of that is thinking that Trey Lyles would be able to take the next step. He hasn't done that. We know what we're going to get from Malik Monk at some point, but that's still thin. And you have Keon Ellis, and that's found money. That's not necessarily it is a Monty thing, but in a different way. So you look around the rest of this West, and we're going to see a team tonight who they lost Chet Holmgren, and they keep on rolling, right? And you cannot be thin because it's a heck of a long season. 916-339-1140. Let's get to Kevin to round us out. What's up, Kevin? What you got for us?
How's it going, gentlemen? So I'm going to take the sky is falling approach here.
Okay.
And I'm going to say we got two options at this point. One, you commit to the big three, right? Domas, Fox, and DeRozan. And you just play them 40 minutes a game, and hopefully they score 30 points each, and you can manage to scrounge out a couple more buckets from whoever else is on this team.
Right.
Otherwise, I think everybody's got to go. I think you can keep Domas. I think he's a great facilitator. I think Fox goes. I think everybody's treating Keegan with baby gloves. It is time to put up or shut up. I can't have Keegan coming out and scoring single digits and being a sieve on offense and not passing the ball. This bench is a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
And it's got to go. Like, those are at this point in time, and that's not even talking about Mike Brown, who So, again, that's just kind of my perspective. I think there's got to be some significant change.
Well, hold on now, Kevin. Hold on now. You said you were mentioning Mike Brown. Say it with your chest. What you want to say, Kev? What you want to say?
I think Brown is not the guy. I think he thought he was the guy, and I think the Beam team year, right? He was a great calming factor. I think he got most of this organization back on track, but he is just not the guy. He his rotations. He can't get guys in the game. He can't keep guys in the game that are going to score the points. I think we need somebody that's going to be out there that's going to be a little bit more of a guy who's going to flow with the game, who's going to look at the guys. He's not, he's an old school coach, right? He's like, this is my guy. This is my veteran. He's been here. He's been around the league. We saw it this year with Herder starting, right? Keon Ellis should have been the starter this year. It's silly that he's not. Mm-hmm. And so I think that falls on Mike Brown. And I think that moving forward, I think somebody needs to take a look at him. And, I don't want to say he's on the hot seat, but I think it should be warming up at least.
Yeah. No, thanks for the call, Kev. Great stuff there. As we get to the other side, I mean, I think at the end of this season, anything is possible. I don't think anything will happen as far as Mike Brown is concerned during the season, but I don't think that Mike Brown will be coaching this exact roster by the time the season is over. That's what I will say about that, especially if it gets ugly tonight. But Malik Monk is back. So you get that spark off the bench, and maybe we can crack double digits off the bench tonight. Malik Monk returns. What does that do for our Kings Thunder preview? Also, Mike Brown on De'Aaron Fox and that balance between letting De'Aaron cook and the rest of the guys. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
All guests come to you from the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Your flagship station for the Bean Team, Sacktown Sports.
Bit of breaking news before the break, if you will. We said it in the segment prior to this, but from Chris Haynes, sources, Sacramento Kings guard Malik Monk will go through pregame warmups with the intention of making his return tonight against the Oklahoma City Thunder after missing the past 7 games. Yeah, 7 is a lot. I will say. I mean, I know it's been a great show, but I know it's been a lot about what the Kings have not done. But Malik Monk did miss 7 games. Now, should you be that dependent on Malik Monk? I am not saying that, but I'm saying it will be very nice to get Malik Monk back. And yeah, he's kind of had a tough go. Obviously, the injuries at the end of last season, and to come back and just get through a couple games and then go back out. So Malik trying to find his footing on top of the fact that now you have DeMar DeRozan. So they've been trying to figure out, okay, what's the end of the game going to look like? So yeah, I mean, look, there's definitely reasons the Kings haven't looked the way we have all hoped, but they shouldn't have looked as bad as they've looked at times as well.
I got a question for you.
Okay.
So the Kings have scored 17 points off the bench in the last 2 games.
That's crazy.
Yeah, honestly, saying it out loud, it's kind of wild. It's 10 from Keon, it's 5 from Colby Jones, and it's 2 from the entire rest of the bench. Mm-hmm. So do you think Malik Monk's going to have more than that tonight?
More than 18?
Or 18 or more?
No.
Okay.
And no, because that's why it's good to get Malik Monk back, because I do think the whole team was trying to figure out Malik, right? When we do prop talk, I mean, Malik, he's sitting at 12 points here, 13 points there. I really think he had only had 1 or 2 games that were classic Malik Monk microwave scoring off the bench. So I don't think so, because the Kings are still trying to figure out where Malik fits in all this.
Yeah, I guess the one thing you can count on is Malik Monk getting buckets and just playing minutes. Like, I know we talk so much about they're playing all the starters so many minutes and guys are getting worn out and all that. But at least with Malik, his injury was more of like a fluke kind of injury. It wasn't the lower back or the worn out legs or whatever. He stepped on someone's ankle wrong and it rolled and it's it wasn't a high ankle sprain, but it was a medium grade ankle sprain.
Yeah.
And so at least that's one that you look at and it's like his injury wasn't minutes related. So just getting him 35 minutes and getting him in the closing lineup and playing on the court at the same time as Fox and DeRozan, it's got to do wonders for what the Kings have. I mean, it can't hurt, but it's got to do wonders for the Kings and him in terms of fitting into the offense.
Let's hear from Mike Brown earlier. A lot of people have had things to say about De'Aaron Fox and the end of games and how that all has been looking, as in not very good lately. This is Mike Brown on when De'Aaron Fox is cooking, if you will, how Mike Brown sees the other players, and should they allow him to do so, for lack of a better term, or do they still want to stick with that, hey, if you have a good shot, go ahead and take it, offense? Here it is.
Yeah, these guys got a lot of freedom out there to do what they want to do, and the reality of it is Domas is an all-star level player, DeMar is an all-star level player, and so if those guys feel that they have an advantage, then I'm not going to hold them back. We got to take an advantage wherever we see or feel, whenever we see one, or feel that we have an advantage, because good shots are hard to come by. So I would not say that those guys were in his way. We obviously want Foxy to stay aggressive, though, too.
It's a balance. It's a balance, and number one, you got to get everybody on the court to figure out that balance. So do we want to, as the show, we got a little bit more than 30 more minutes, do we want to start to give the Kings a little bit of grace as we've hammered them for the last 3 hours or over 3 hours? And hey, this thing is going to be a process. Like we said, you're 17 games in. Okay. You're going to blink and you're going to be at the first quarter, if you will, of the season being done. What is it that we want to take away, or what do we think is truly not sustainable, and what do we think is going to improve? That's the issue for me, because I know the bench will be better with Malik Monk. I don't think it was good enough with Malik Monk. It's just been worse. I do not know. So the bench has to be better, and I don't think it's going to happen internally. Keegan Murray, as of right now, with how much he's being asked to do, I do not think that he will shoot better. And if he does shoot better, it won't be extremely better. He might be better, but they are right now, he is prioritizing doing other things than his three-point shooting. And that's fine if you're getting it from somewhere else. Now, as I continue down the line, Kevin Huerter. I am not saying Kevin Huerter needs to be on the bench. I am saying there are times where it feels like the whole floor spacing thing is just a much better to say in theory, because if he's not wide open, I saw while Malik Sabonis and DeMar DeRozan was out, I saw Kevin Huerter take a shot off the dribble at 3 and he nailed it. I've rarely seen Kevin Huerter ever do any of that. So if you have, I'm going to take it to baseball because that's what I always do. You got a BP all-star, a batting practice all-star who can just hit dingers whenever it's batting practice or something like that. And you keep him in the 4-hole because that guy is supposed to hit home runs for you. That guy is supposed to be a power hitter. So the lineup gets looked at differently because he's a power dude, but he hasn't hit a home run in 3 months. Do you leave him in the 4 spot because of the idea that he's a power hitter, Or do you need him to start actually hitting for power? Kevin Huerter is a floor spacer. Is he actually going to hit threes and space the floor at some point? That's where we're at with this. And maybe it starts tonight. He's had some good games this season, don't get me wrong.
But he also had a 0-point game against the Clippers.
With the other guys out.
Yeah.
Cannot happen.
Well, at least with Malik Monk out.
Malik Monk out. Can't happen. He did have 11 last night.
I guess the argument you could make beyond the players and this whole thing being a process is that, okay, this is the group that they originally wanted at the start of the season, right? Mm-hmm. So now tonight will be evident in what Mike Brown wants to do with his rotations, right? Because we're operating under the presumption of health. I mean, I don't know how healthy DeRozan or Sabonis or Monk are, but
they're out there.
But we're operating under the presumption of we got to run it as if they're healthy. And regardless of execution, I know it changes based on game situation, like how many fouls someone has or who has a hot hand or not. But like, is Mike Brown going to go back to we got Monk, we got Ellis, we got Lyles, and everyone else can sit on the bench? Are we going 8 deep and it's the same 8 as last year, or are we dipping our toes deeper into the bench than we were comfortable with the first 8 games of the season now that we finally have the entire group back together? That's something I'm curious about, regardless of whether or not they beat the Thunder by 20 or the Thunder run them out of the gym. Is just what are the minutes played and what are the rotations and when are players coming in?
You remember against the Blazers when the Kings were up pretty big and the starters didn't go out until the 2-minute mark, something like that. I think it's going to be super similar, even if the Kings are blessed to be in that position. I think it's a 7-man rotation.
Well, it's not going to be 7. It's got to be at least 8. It's got to be
Trey Lyles, sure. Trey Lyles, Keon, and Malik.
Yeah,
that's it.
Maybe another 0.4 seconds from Alex Len, like last night.
I don't know if the Colby Jones experiment is over. Maybe there's something there. Jordan McLaughlin is now falling out of grace, just as he was starting to shoot the basketball.
I don't know if it's that he's fallen out of grace. It was a 1-game decision to play Colby the Jordan McLaughlin minutes.
Yeah.
And it did not go well yesterday. Yeah, Colby was not good yesterday.
He did play hard, but you got to put the biscuit in the basket. All right, let's get to our Kings Thunder preview on the other side. And we have a little bit of prop talk and dog as well. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
DC here, and if you've been thinking about a new car, you got to see my friends at Folsom Lake Kia. You can always count on low payments and 0-down deals with approved credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
This holiday at T-Mobile, I'm joined by a special co-anchor.
What up, everybody? It's your boy, Big Snoop D-O Double G.
Snoop, let's talk about T-Mobile.
Okay, cool.
This holiday, get 4 lines for $25 a line. Plus, 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence and the all-new camera control on us.
Let's get cracking, like a breakfast egg.
You can use those eggs to make some eggnog, Snoop.
Respect.
And people do love T-Mobile, where you can save on every plan versus the other big guys.
Y'all can take some of those savings and buy some Snoop merchandise.
Always a great stocking stuffer, Snoop.
We up out of here, so drop that jingle.
Hold your horses, Snoop D-O Double G. Let's remind people one more time.
Head to T-Mobile.com and get 4 iPhone 16s with Apple Intelligence on us. Plus 4 lines for $25.
With 24 monthly bill credits for eligible trade-ins and 4 new lines with autopay. Well qualified customers plus taxes and fees and $35 per line connection charge. Cancel entire account before receiving 24 bill credits and credit stop and balance on required finance agreements due. $829.99. Credits end to be pay off device early. See how you can save on wireless and streaming versus the other big guys at T-Mobile.com/switch. Apple Intelligence available now.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm, A-rated by the Better Business Bureau. Their award-winning team of tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to end your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other IRS actions. Make sure you're getting the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima today for a free confidential consultation.
Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
At the law offices of Dale R. Gomes, we understand that when you're facing a crisis, you need more than just a lawyer. You need a team. Our dedicated attorneys work together, combining decades of experience to guide you through personal injury or criminal defense matters with care and expertise. We're committed to supporting you every step of the way, ensuring your voice is heard and your rights are protected. With offices in Sacramento and El Dorado County, reach out to the law offices of Dale R. Gomes today, 916-999-9033, or online at dalegomslaw.com.
Finally, an easy way to find home improvement contractors. Just visit subcontractorsunited.com and simplify your search for home services professionals. From cabinets to windows, roofing to plumbing, Subcontractors United is an easy, simple way to find and hire a home improvement contractor. And you never have to give up personal information. So no harassing phone calls like you get from those other websites. Subcontractorsunited.com is sponsored by D&D Cabinets and Savage Design.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named a top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue, Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
If you've been looking to get into a brand new Jeep, don't wait. Head to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram because all month it's Black Friday. And there's a reason people keep coming back to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram because it's the place where a handshake still means something. Off Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course, SacSuperstore.com.
Your home for Kings basketball for over 25 seasons.
Sacktown Sports.
We have Prop Talk and Dog segment coming up in about 10-ish minutes, but we have our Kings Thunder preview that we are going to get to right now. And predictions coming up in about 10, 15 minutes. So Kyle and I will give our predictions, Prop Talk, Dog segment, and we also will hand you over, of course, to the Drive guys who are at Golden One. And it is Whitey Gleason, as always, and Kyle Draper. So here is the high-level breakdown. The Thunder, they are without Chet Holmgren, who is out, landed on his hip not too long ago, but they do have Isaiah Hartenstein back, who's been playing very, very well for them. They sit in the second seed of the Western Conference right now at 12-4. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be 12-4? 12-4.
Not only that, imagine being 12-4 and it's a disappointment.
Yeah. 12-4. They're tied for first place with the Warriors, but the Warriors currently have the tiebreaker. They will have a chance to avenge that later this week. The Thunder will, as they head from Sacramento over to the Bay. But 12-4, been playing very well. But of course, a lot of people are, expected, I guess, them to not lose any games. They are second in net rating, which is very impressive. They are first in defensive rating, and they are 12th in offensive rating. So when you look at what they've been able to do so far and who they've been doing it with, I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course, Jalen Williams continues to improve.
Jalen Williams might be defensive player of the year right now. Like, he's been so good this year on the defensive side of the ball.
Well, the thing about him is, we know, I don't think anybody's taking as many mid-ranges as the Kings, but that's a guy who he can obviously shoot the three ball, but he's really good at the mid-range. He's a big boy, and he's able to get to his spot. He's very calm under pressure. One of these guys who just seems to have the same demeanor no matter what. And really, that's the whole team. I know in their post-game pressers, they bark like dogs and they have a lot of fun. But during the game, they are very, very even keel. And you have guys like Lou Dort still doing his thing. Jalen Williams, I mean, this is what we're talking about, Kyle. Jalen Williams against the Blazers, he played center for them. He started at center. Isaiah Hartenstein coming off the bench, still played 29 minutes, but coming off the bench, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander doing his thing as always. Cason Wallace has been somebody who they've kind of depended on against the Blazers. Alex Caruso had 17 points in 15 minutes. So this is probably going to tick off Kings fans because tonight you're going to, if you thought 44 from the Nets bench last night, you have a team in the Thunder who they just rotate everybody, and you got a real good bench coming in to Golden One tonight. So I don't think that there is any surprise that Malik is doing his darndest to get out there because these dudes aren't messing around.
The Alex Caruso thing has been so interesting because on the surface, it would seem like they lost that trade, right? Caruso's only playing like 19 minutes a game.
Right.
He hasn't been that super impact player. He's not starting at all, and they gave up Giddey, who was obviously starting and playing big minutes for them last year. On the surface, you'd think that was a loss just as a one-to-one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you look at the way their roster is constructed now and the addition of Hartenstein and Caruso and Cason Wallace, like it's been interesting to see how they've gone forward. And I think they were going to be great no matter what, just because they have so many great players, whether it's Shai or Jalen or Chet or Dort or Isaiah. Like they just have so many great top-end players. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting that Caruso hasn't been all that yet. He's been obviously great defensively. Caruso will give that to you always, but he hasn't been all they had hoped for and more, and yet it hasn't mattered. They're still just excellent across the board.
Right, and they've played, I mean, they're getting everybody's best shot. They are, this is funny because they are in a similar spot to where the Kings were last season. Now, the Kings weren't the number one seed, but they were the number one seed. Nobody really knew what they were going to do in the playoffs. And I would say because they were young, they got a bit of a pass. But when you're the one seed and you don't make it to the Western Conference Finals, it's kind of viewed as a letdown. But you get a pass because this was your first real run. So coming off of that season, the same way the Kings had to last season, different expectations. And what are they doing? I mean, they're 12. Like I said, they're tied for first place. And they are kind of cruising right along, even without Chet Holmgren, who's missing some time. So this is exactly what a lot of people were hoping to see from the Kings. Obviously, this is done in a different way. They are much younger than the Kings were. Not much, but they are younger than the Kings were. And you got your star and your secondary guys. I think the difference is you have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is the headliner, but Jalen Williams, I wouldn't call him found money, but I don't think a lot of people thought that he would be this. And then you have Chet, who has been as advertised. He's dealt with some health stuff, but has been as advertised when he plays. So they have the difference is they did what they did last season, and they have a legit big three that they're building. The Kings did not have that. They did not have that. They got hot.
Yes, I agree with you on that. And I think to your point, of the players that are going to play in tonight's game, so like obviously we take Chet out of it, but like let's just you and me go back and forth. Just the player you would want most on the floor tonight. You would probably go Shai number one.
Shai number one.
The two is Sabonis or Fox, right?
Give me Fox the way he's been playing.
Okay, so go
yes.
Fox, then three probably Sabonis.
Mm-hmm.
4 DeRozan. And then Jalen Williams? Or would you take Jalen Williams before?
I think you'd have to take the way Jalen Williams is playing right now. I think you take Jalen Williams above DeMar DeRozan.
So to your point, there's the underlying point is there's not that many. There's not that much difference in the big three, right?
Right.
Now,
yes.
The gap between 1 and 2, I think, is relatively speaking pretty large because Shai is just that excellent of a player. But
I don't think it's that big.
But if you look at the numbers, De'Aaron Fox is not that dissimilar from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Mm-hmm.
Although by perception, most people would say Shai's a first-team All-NBA player, MVP candidate, and people aren't saying that about De'Aaron Fox. And I think the big part of that is that Shai is an elite capital E defender, whereas Fox is also a very good defender, But that difference between being an elite offensive player and an elite defensive player just makes Shea stand apart from the pack.
Yeah, I think De'Aaron might be a little underrated. You know, he led the league in steals, and I know that's one of those weird stats where guys can lead the league in steals but not necessarily be quote-unquote good defender, but he is a good defender.
But also, guess who was one steal behind him last year? That would be Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Hey, I'm just arguing that I don't think the gap is that big.
Oh, I tend to agree with what you're saying in terms of perception. I think people are going into it and being like, that it's night and day. Like Shai is going to run roughshod over the Kings, and it's not that way because Shai's going to be matched up against Fox, I would imagine. I would imagine that's the defensive matchup the Kings go with, and so I don't feel terrible about that.
But I do think that it's that the one thing you would put in, or the one feather you would probably have in Shai's cap, is I don't know if De'Aaron will guard Shai, right? It could be Shai guards De'Aaron and Keegan guards Shai. Or Keegan might have to guard Jalen Williams.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Fox is going to guard Shai tonight. I don't think they're going to put Keegan on Shai. I could be wrong. I think it's going to be Fox versus Shai both ways.
Here you go. For points this season, De'Aaron at 28.9 points per game. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 28.7 points per game. De'Aaron 4.9 rebounds a game. Shai 5.1 rebounds a game. Assists, De'Aaron 5.7 assists per game. Shai 6.3 assists per game. I mean, they are dead on. Field goal percentage, De'Aaron 51.1. Shai 50 even. 3-point percentage, De'Aaron 35.6. You have Shai 33.7. You have De'Aaron free throw 81.8. Shai 89.6. And that's the big difference. As far as what I want to watch, I'd rather watch De'Aaron than Shai be a foul merchant and grift all night. That's what I'm not looking forward to. I do not want to watch. De'Aaron at least is an ethical hooper. That's what the kids say.
Hooper.
He's an ethical hooper. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not an ethical hooper. I don't think he's as bad as Harden back in the day, but he's dang close.
So this is the point I would say, is that I think the difference between perception and reality is De'Aaron. I mean, it's again small sample size, it's only 16 games, but De'Aaron Fox and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander have been equal in offensive ability this year. Their offensive games have been about the same this year. Now, if you're looking at it like over the course of 3 years, I'm sure Shai probably has a slight advantage over Fox if you took like their 180 game totals going back to the start of 2023. But in this short sample, their offensive games have been equal, and De'Aaron Fox has been an above average defensive player this year. Now, Shai is an elite defensive player. Like, he might make an all defensive team this year, but that doesn't mean De'Aaron Fox is some schmuck on defense. He has been an above average defender, and I would imagine, again, I could be wrong, but I would imagine De'Aaron's going to be guarding Shai tonight.
Well, De'Aaron, you hear this? You hear Kyle? De'Aaron,
you are above average.
We gotta figure this thing out right now tonight. You get Malik Monk back. You got the crew back. Sabonis, another game back. DeMar DeRozan, another game back. Y'all are on a 3-game losing streak. You got an opportunity to cleanse that palate. A little bit of ginger after your sushi, huh? What are you gonna do? What are you going to do? Predictions coming up next. Let's get your predictions in. 916-339-1140. We got dog segment. We got prop talk. Let's make you some cheddar. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike with the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sactown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Shop Dell Technologies Black Friday event for their lowest prices of the year. The future is on sale today with limited time deals on select PCs like the XPS 16 that accelerate AI with Intel Core Ultra processors. Black Friday is their biggest sale of the year and the best time to upgrade, but it's only here for a limited time. Shop now at Dell.com/deals. That's Dell.com/deals.
Lowe's knows that to win the job, pros need the best prices. That's why only at Lowe's, MVP's Pro Rewards members can get a volume discount on eligible orders as low as $1,500 at the Pro Desk. That means you get the prices you need to start any job, small or large. Because Lowe's knows pros. Valid in-store only. More terms and restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms or Pro Desk for details.
Time to gear up. It's the Black Friday and Gold Saturday open house event at Roseville Power Sports, located at 360 North Sunrise Avenue. We're your home for the best deals on Can-Am side-by-sides, ATVs, and Ski-Doo snowmobiles. Now's the time to save thousands on a brand new Can-Am or Ski-Doo. And check out the all-new Can-Am Maverick R with an incredible 240 horsepower. A Maverick R is built to conquer any terrain, bringing unmatched power and excitement to your off-road adventures. Plus, save 30 to 50% on accessories, helmets, jackets, gear, everything you need to ride in style and safety. This Black Friday and Saturday only. And it's not just about the savings. It's an open house event you won't want to miss. Join us for food, prizes, and more this Black Friday. So head to Roseville Power Sports this Black Friday and Gold Saturday from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And let's kick off the holiday season with incredible deals and tons of fun. Some restrictions apply. See store for details. Offers valid on 2024 and prior product while supplies last. Happy holidays from Roseville Power Sports.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Top 100 PGA and LPGA teaching professional Kelly Stenzel offers a few tweaks for your short game, including putt whenever you can, chip when you can't putt, and pitch only when you have to. For small distance, small setup. Shorter shots require smaller swings. Grip the handle lower for less power, and a narrow stance will limit your backswing. For large distance, large setup. The farther you want to hit the wedge, the larger the swing needs to be. Full length on the grip and a wider stance create more power. And posture is key for contact and loft. See that your short game posture reflects that of your full swing. Ball position tips. Left for loft. For right-handed golfers, move the ball forward and increase loft. Right for roll. Moving the ball back decreases the loft for more roll. Sharpen your short game and watch your scores drop and your enjoyment rise. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what's happening for Ram Power Days now that Black Friday's here?
We're giving you a head start on the new year when you save up to $17,500 off MSRP on new 2025 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab 4x4s, starting as low as $36,325.
Wow, already that kind of savings on next year's models?
Yep, there's a reason we continue to be one of the biggest Ram dealers in the country, with numerous customer service awards, including the very prestigious Walter P. Chrysler Award, which means we are in the top 1% of dealers in the nation.
Don't miss the savings on those new 2025 Rams right now at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center. Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$17,500 total net savings on select new 2025 Ram 1500 after $12,000 factory rebates and $5,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 SFS bonus cash. Must finance through Stellantis. $3,000 Hoblet select inventory coupons. $500 on-the-job upfit incentive with proof of business ownership, and $2,000 in Hoblet trade-in assistance for eligible trade-ins. 10 at this net savings. See dealer for details. 36,325 in 544-890.
Lead generation is one of the most important aspects of any marketing campaign. Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products or services to them. Go to aimyourdigital.com today. aimyourdigital.com.
Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday. Sacktown Sports.
15 more minutes with you. Got a little bit of Niners news. There was no time to get to Niners today, by the way.
Oh, no.
I'm sure some Niner fans do not mind that. But some good news, 49ers are opening the practice window for Dre Greenlaw. I don't know if it's too little too late, but he will practice on Wednesday per Kyle Shanahan. Some not so good news. Shanahan said that John Feliciano's knee didn't respond the right way, so the 49ers won't activate him. His 3-week practice window is closed, and he will remain on IR. So we will have some Niners to get to tomorrow, unless y'all blow up the phone lines again like you did today. That was great stuff. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to you, Kyle, as well, handling. You were looking like Kevin Gates. Got 2 phones. That's what we needed today with all the calls as we get to predictions, Kyle, and then we have prop talk and dog segment. Look, the Kings, we know that they do not play great as the favorites, and luckily for them, I do not believe they will have to worry about that they will have to worry about that tonight. By the way, the Kings 0-5, their last 5 games against the spread. The Kings will be underdogs tonight. The Thunder favorites by 3.5. 3.5. Okay. The Kings are underdogs at home. Now, I don't know if this is with the news, and if you're just now joining us, Malik Monk intends to play tonight. He's going to go through the pregame warm-up with the intention of playing tonight. Don't know if this spread is pre or post that, but there you have it. Kyle, all right, give me a score. And you look, we're not homers here. But clearly, if you listen to the last 4 hours, we are not homers. We got to give you the real. So, Kyle, what happens tonight? Give us a score.
All right, so if Kings want a positive spin on this, is that right now about like 90% of the money is on Oklahoma City, which means that the house is feeling good about the Kings. The giant casinos are being built on those types of wins, so they feel good about that. But I'm going to say Oklahoma City is going to pull it out. Let's go 110 to 106.
110 to 106. So they cover too.
I mean, just barely.
Just barely.
By tip-off, maybe it'll be a different. Maybe by tip-off, the Kings will cover a 4-pointer. But yeah, I'll say the Thunder win. It'll come right down to the end. That would be my guess.
All right. Well, there you have it there. And we want to hear from you, 916-339-1140. Couple more minutes before we hand you over to the Drive guys, Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper. So, Kyle, I know I've been hard on the Kings today, because it's tough love. It's tough love, and I do think that we are going to see a very motivated Kings team. I think we're going to see Malik Monk shot out of a cannon, as he always is, assuming he plays. He has the intention of playing, going to go through pregame in that way. I think Domantas Sabonis, we were looking, the Thunder, I know they got Hartenstein, but they did start Jalen Williams last game at center. Maybe they don't do that this time, because I think that if you do that, Domantas Sabonis will enjoy himself. I think that De'Aaron Fox is going to see this as an opportunity to show people who he is. And DeMar DeRozan has been cold. He's due. So all these guys are due. The team is due. 3-game skid. You lost 5 of your last 7. It's not good right now, but you can make it. You can start the transition in a good way tonight. Give me the Kings to cover. Give me the Kings to win. I do think it could be a little bit. It won't be a firework show, but I don't think it'll be terribly low scoring as well. Give me the Kings to win 113 to 110.
Nice.
That's what I got.
So you and I both have the Thunder scoring 110 points. The question is just whether or not the Kings can get to 110.
There? From the 209, 130 to 110. Thunder. Come on, 209.
130 would be
130 is
130
nasty.
would be wild. You're saying they're going to put up 65 in both halves
with no Chet.
Yeah,
with no Chet. Come on, 209. We're turning things around.
Is Lugens Dort going to start popping threes here all of a sudden?
I think he had a couple last time.
I know, but he's on the season. Let's see where he's at on the season. Oh no, he's 40%. I just disrespect there. He's shooting 40%.
Do not disrespect Lugens like that.
All
right. Let's get to, and we'll continue to read some of these predictions. Golly, amid rock, not you too. King's gonna lose this one by 20 plus. What is happening? I've seen the text line, Allen. This is Sacramento basketball. What's happening? What happened to the positivity, the optimism?
I only said 4 points.
Malik Monk is back, y'all.
We think.
He's got the intention of coming back, y'all.
Malik Monk is intent on playing.
Come on now. That's nuts. All right, Kyle. A little bit of prop talk. Maybe at least if the Kings do lose, y'all can get a little bit of cheese in your pockets. I know. Got to buy the Thanksgiving spread. All right. We'll talk. We got plenty to talk about Thanksgiving do's and don'ts a little bit later in the week. But Kyle, who do you have for your prop talk?
All right, so building off of our Thunder versus Kings preview, we talked a lot about Fox versus SGA and that matchup, and the above-average defender that is De'Aaron Fox is going to be able to hold Shai Gilgeous-Alexander under 31 points. Might not be much more than 31 points.
Sure.
But 31 seems like a lot for an over-under on Shea. So I'm going to go prop talk under 31 points for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
I like that a lot. I am stuck between two, but I do like that from your standpoint. It could be, Keegan on Jalen Williams. I mean, this is just a pride game, straight up. This is a pride game, straight up. So I'm stuck between DeMar DeRozan at 18. I feel like DeMar is due, and Domantas Sabonis with Hartenstein and Jalen Williams. I mean, he normally owns Chet. Chet's not playing, so that kind of throws a wrench into things. Yeah, give me DeMar DeRozan. Give me DeMar DeRozan over 18 points. He's been cold. De'Aaron Fox, again, has been on the heater. De'Aaron said at 24.5, but I feel like DeMar DeRozan is due. I mean, what did he go? 7 straight games over 20 to start his tenure here in Sacramento. So he hasn't hit it in a while. DeMar DeRozan, he had the game he got injured. He had 2 points, and he had 16 last night. He has 18. So I think he finally gets to 20 points tonight. Give me DeMar DeRozan over, and he doesn't got to get to 18. You got to get to 19. So give me DeMar DeRozan over 18. That's what we have there. You have the dog segment. And by the way, Mark is chiming in from 916. Market, or I don't know if his name is Mark or he's just saying market. 110 to 90, the Thunder. I'm done with y'all. I'm so done with y'all. All right. Manny Too Legit. We don't even have a dog segment no more. That's how bad it is. Blasphemy. Manny Too Legit. We ain't getting rid of the dog segment. All right, my dog for tonight. Man, oh man, oh man. I was almost going to take him in prop talk. I will take him in dog because I'll never forget when the Kings almost lost to, was it the Pistons or somebody, and Domas let out that barbaric scream. Domas is not going to let this team loose tonight. I'm going Domas, Domantas Sabonis, my dog tonight.
I believe in you. I believe in you, Domas. You know who's going to have a nice little night tonight?
Trey Lyles movement.
It is stink, please.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to play 35 minutes anymore. He's going to get his 18 minutes, and you know what? 3 3-pointers tonight.
Wow.
3 of them.
The Trey Lyles movement is off and running. All right, great stuff. Patrick Donaldson on the Sack Chat saying Fox over 40 tonight. Hey, just get the W. And maybe tomorrow's show we can say, all right, we're turning it around. I feel it. I feel it, y'all. Let's get it started tonight. Thank you for listening to Allen Stiles. Thank you to Kyle. Thank you to the callers, texters, Sack Chatters. Manny Tula just saying Malik is about to come back and make a statement. 4 threes. We'll take it all. We'll take it all. Dwayne wants it over from SGA from the 209. Stop it, Dwayne. Thank you for listening. Drive Guys up next. Whitey Gleason, Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Until tomorrow, secure the bag. Please, please, please. Light the beam.
Online, easy way to get life insurance in 10 minutes. Ethos has rates that you can afford, like a $500,000 policy for a 40-year-old male starting at $1 a day or $30 a month. With a few health questions